Okay, so can I see everybody? I can see everybody. You guys, this has been a long time coming. It's taken about 2.5 years for, to really bring this to light. And I have all the time in my businesses that I've ever had is that people ask me what to do with their capital gains. How do they reduce their taxes? Mindset, is another great thing. So for those of you that don't know me, I know that there's a couple of people here in this room. I'm super excited. There are a lot of people in here that know me really well. But let me tell you a little bit about my journey, and then I'm going to introduce our first guest. So I have been an entrepreneur. I'm unemployable for over 30 years. I own my own brick and mortars. Prior to that, I ran super busy restaurant chains. I would go to different states and open up, these huge restaurants for, they're still around. It's called Brinker International, but really started having children, and I just didn't want to travel all the time and work the 80-hour work weeks. So I had 2 brick and mortars. I started those back in the day, long time ago, like when Naomi was just barely walking. We went ahead and we started our own brick and mortars to stay home. So I had a lawn service and I had a daycare. So I am not, and ever since then, I have been self-employed, and there is such a great freedom in being self-employed. Now, through all of this, okay, is that I started in network marketing over 20 years ago. And it's actually almost closer to 30 now if I'm dating myself. So anyways, I started in this journey, and I just loved what network marketing could do for people, because no matter what your background was, is that, you could be extremely successful in a career. You could not have a college education. You could be a stay-at-home parent, but it was a level playing field. And so, that's where I've been really loving what I do, because it's a place of service. But what has evolved after that has been so much more. You make the one thing the main thing, but then you can start diversifying. And so when I started looking at diversifying, this is where these team of experts that you're going to hear from today, I'm just bringing them together. I'm a connector. I know how to invest my money. I know how to make really stupid, expensive mistakes. And I don't want that to happen for people. So, and you guys, let me tell you something. For those of you that don't know, I just through one income stream over the last 9 years, I've earned $15 million. And that's from my network marketing business. But you know what? I've made $2 million worth of mistakes by hiring CPAs that didn't know what they were doing, by hiring financial advisors that were schooled through the system, not knowing about the tax shelters through real estate, infinite banking, self-directed IRAs, and all of this stuff. So you're going to learn about that today. Okay. The great thing is that now, even more, and you guys, I'm really excited, I'll share this with you later, is that Jay and I now, we will have an 8th stream of income, because I'm not going to let the digital world pass me by, right? Because there's a lot of money to be made, right? They're projecting $38 billion by the end of 2025. Think about that for a second. That's huge. And so you see all these people that are teaching the courses. I've already done that, right? I've already gone through the courses. I've already learned all about them. And now I'm taking my expertise and teaching other entrepreneurs how to be truly free. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. Okay. True freedom means that I can take this anywhere and I can be anywhere in the world, and I am still making money every single minute of every single day. And that's the beautiful thing. So I want to share with you a couple of things before we introduce our first speaker. But I also want to talk about this. And this kind of hit me like 2 days ago, you guys, talking about biblical perspectives on wealth. And I truly feel I actually found my faith over the last 10 years through this journey. I wasn't a person of, that really embraced that, but now I am. And it's something that's new for me. But I wanted to talk about how it's related to, really being financially and time free. So one is that it's the ability to experience and enjoy God's blessings. These are gifts from God for service. These are also, you are blessed to help and share the less fortunate. I don't know if you guys know Jimmy Darts, MD Motivator. These guys now, they get paid They get paid to share what their fortune is giving away. As a matter of fact, MD Motivator, Zach, he's a good friend of mine, and so is his fiance, Sophia, the nicest guy in the world. And he fell into this a year and a half ago. And now Kim Kardashian is paying him hundreds of thousands of dollars to give away cash and prizes and other things. So that's, truly being people of service. But Zach started out just because he was in a mental state and he was having so many issues. Hi, how are you? Welcome. So anyways, but it's stuff like that you can do. Also too, is that, you know what? God wants us to be abundant. And I didn't come here to preach to you today or give you a sermon. That is not my specialty. You can listen to people like, we just saw Rich Wilkerson. He was awesome, by the way. Fantastic. I mean, John Maxwell, he is a personal friend of mine that has mentored me and my family for the last 4 years by himself. So we have all of these incredible people that have come into our circle that we've been able to learn from. And that's why we're here, is to learn. Okay. Now, the other thing to this too, and I wanted to lead off.
Hey, Tanya, quick. Tanya, you gotta delete, or you gotta mute Alicia there.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Got it. Okay. So the great thing about this is that when I do a 10-week challenge, and this is all about growing your business, and it's also about saving money, but I'm going to give you some tips that people hate, and they don't like it because they're used to convenience. And I got to tell you guys, I don't know about you. How was my coffee? Was my coffee pretty good? Okay. I can make a better cup of coffee for 62 cents versus going to $5, right? I think it's more like $7 now, right? Okay, so when I do my 10-week challenges, is that you are only, I give you permission, but this is part of it, and it's called a hardcore challenge. It's 10 weeks, right? You only get to go out and spend money once a week on meals, and I'm going to tell you why. Do you know on average people will save $300 a month by not going out to eat 2 or 3 times a week? It's probably even more now because, the last time we ran one of these really hard challenges, prices had not escalated this much. So it's probably more like 4 or 5. Is it more than that, Melissa?
Yeah, we're seeing like $400 or $500.
Okay, so
not a week.
Right, 1 meal per week, and that, you guys, that's what we normally do. 1 meal per week is what so I'm very rigid in that, and I like to cook, and not only that, we eat really clean. So you know what? Take it upon yourself just to do that and track how much money you're saving. I want you to go back through 2 prior months. How much money did you spend at the coffee shop? How much money? Oh, and by the way, I'm going to tell you one other thing. Stop giving your money to big box stores. 7 cents on that dollar only goes back into our immediate economy. And when you shop from a mom and pop place, and I don't care if it's more money or not, you're giving 70 cents back to your local community. So that's a huge difference. And not only that, entrepreneurism was made on the backbone of small businesses. So go support local. The other thing is I'm going to tell you right now, stop shopping at Walmart and Target. I know you guys are going to have a heart attack. Okay. The reason being is that Walmart and Target and all of these big box stores are specifically designed for you to spend way more. This is all psychological now than what you need. So you guys, you know what? You can Instacart, you can, Harris Teeter now has a delivery service. You need toilet paper, have it delivered. You know what? Because you're going to watch how much money you're going to save. And you think about all of the useless crap. I have been in a Target once in 4 years. I haven't shopped in a Walmart since I can't even tell you when. But the great thing is that you have the opportunity to really watch what you're spending on nonsensical things. The dollar store is another good one too. I mean, you think, it's only $1, it's only this, it's only that. Well, that's exactly what they're teaching you to do. It's called, if you have any debt at all, it's called economic slavery. And people are not educated in this. And we're going to talk about that more. I actually am working on this really brilliant man. His name is Robert Michael. I highly suggest you follow him on Instagram. He's called the general _ executor, sorry, EXECUTOR. His name is Robert Michael. He's brilliant, you guys. He's been studying this stuff for 14 years. Blows my mind about the stuff that he teaches about. Another great resource for you, Freedom Law School on YouTube. And another great resource is David Jose. It's got to be about on YouTube as well. It's called, his channel is called Dave Cares for You. But I have been studying what they have been sharing over the last 3 to 4 years, and it will just, you guys, what we are taught through the education system is a joke. It's a joke. And I'm just being honest. I'm not going to get into a political, most of you know my political views. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but this is truly about teaching people how to look at this different and to truly be free. Okay. The other thing is use cash more often. Okay. Here's why. Guess what? Every time you swipe your credit card or your debit card, who's making a percentage on that? It's the banks. They keep reusing your money over and over and over again, and then charging to use money. Cash is still king. We just have to get back to that practice, because you can't make a percentage on, when a 20 is leaving your hand going to someone else's hand. Okay. So that's going to save everyone money. And not only that, they can't track you. So I'm just saying that. The other great thing, you guys, where are you keeping your money at? I'm going to tell you is that private banking, get out of the commercial banks. Okay. That's going to be a family-owned bank. Those are your credit unions, and make sure that they are not traded on the stock market, because they're only using your money again against you. Okay. Now I'm going to ruffle some feathers here, but you guys, when I learned about all of this, and it's completely up to you, I don't want to gamble my money in the stock market or my 401k. So I took all of that, and that's where self-directed IRAs are going to come in. And Jamie's going to be sharing that with you a little bit later today. Okay. Here's another great thing. We talked about cash is king. Okay. So I do this in my 10-week challenge, is that each person that participates, they have to put $5 in away every single day. Compound that, you guys. So, and I'm going to use Gretchen as an example. She did our challenge 3.5 years ago, and she still puts away $5 every day. So guess how much money she has? You guys all have calculators on your phone. You can figure it out, because I didn't, but it adds up. Naomi, add that number up for me real quick, would you? 5 times 365. And so you guys, so then by the end of 1 year, you've got, $1,825 that you can go put in and make your money work for you. Think about that. Okay. So anyways, with that being said, you guys, I just wanted to share that with you. We have Pam Pressman. She's next. She is all about money mindset. She's going to tell, Greenberg. Sorry. Okay, well then there you go. I always see you as Pam Pressman on Facebook. So it's never Greenberg to me. I don't know why. So anyways, okay, so we have Pam going next, and she's amazing. She's going to talk about mindset. Then we're going to be hearing about, we're going to be hearing from, and these are not in order, you guys, Steven Starrick. He is putting together this awesome AI. It is going to be incredible. You're going to be hearing from Joe Evangelisti. He is the self-storage king investor. He's got a great platform. We've been investing with him for over a year. Those mailbox money checks that you see, these right here, this is from investing with him. So that's just one of, the different ways that you can do that. Then you're going to be hearing from Anthony Aboud, and Anthony is a marketing genius. If you guys know about our software, the CRM, he's the one who helped us build it. And he has so many cool things. He's got so many cool things that he's doing. I got to meet him for the first time when we were out in LA a couple weeks ago, and we've been working together and partnering together for 3 years. So it was really cool to meet him. Super great guy. So he's going to be teaching you all about, marketing, consulting, and also automation. And he's got some really cool other things in his back pocket. Okay. So then we also have Jamie. Jamie's going to be talking about self-directed IRAs. He's also going to be talking about investing. He does a lot of house flips. He's out of Minnesota. Joe's out of Jersey. And then we also we have Melissa, and Melissa is a friend here. She's local. So all 3 of us ladies are here, and all the guys are going to be on virtually, which is cool, but they're all over the country. And so what I've done is I've aligned myself with these experts that I could completely and fully trust. One thing that I want to do before Pam comes up and talks about this is that I had mentioned that I had made a lot of mistakes with my money. This includes taking really shitty advice from financial planners and CPAs that don't know what they're doing, and they don't understand really how the IRS works, but I'm not going to get into that either. There may be some other people that talk about it, but I'm very opinionated because my opinions are, you know, what I own, but you know, so through that process as well, we're going to totally show you how to take, even if you're W-2. So here's the thing: if you are W-2'd, you got to find a way to make your own money on the side or on a 1099. And I'm going to tell you that is so very important, because guess what? When you're W-2'd, your employer is automatically paying your taxes. So they don't account, it doesn't account for anything, you know, the clothes that you buy, the car that you drive, or anything like that. You guys, you know what, if you still want to file taxes and pay them, all of that you can write off. I mean, this right here, there's a lot of expense that goes into this because I speak a lot for a living. And so the one thing is that my hair, my nails, my makeup, everything, it's all under advertising. And that is perfectly fine for you to do. I've been doing it for a long time. So just some of the really cool things that you guys can share, you know, as we go on. So Crystal, I'll go in and I'll put all that information in for you as soon as I turn it over to Pam, and I'll answer and I'll go through any questions that I need to answer. But these are all great resources. So you guys, welcome to the first day of your true financial freedom. So with that being said, I'm very honored to be here. I'm super glad that you guys are all here. Now, what you're going to want to do, so Pam, I just want to position this. You all should have gotten the link where you guys got the handouts. I know there wasn't a lot, but that's okay. But Pam is gonna, I just want to make sure that this is centered right so she can show you how this is going to work. Okay, I can also put this up higher, Pam. Let me see here. I think we're good. Okay, so we'll zoom in, you guys, when she gets done, but she's gonna share with you on how to do that. Now, with that being said, let me do a proper introduction for my good friend Pam here. I actually met her through networking here in the Low Country. She has become one of our closest friends. She is phenomenal. She wrote a book, went to #1, right? Roll on, sister. There's a little story behind that, but I'm going to let her tell her story, and then she's going to share a little exercise with you. But you guys, she is a very well-known here hypnotist. And I'm going to tell you, it's mind over matter in anything and everything. So Pam, come on up. Give her a round of applause. Applause, applause, applause.
All right. So I am a certified hypnotherapist here in Mount Pleasant, and I graduated from the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, hence the title of the book, Roll On to Victory. The book is about what it takes to live life on your terms. It's my story. It's my personal story, which if I had an hour and a half, I would go into and tell you my story, but you can get my book on Amazon and you can read my story. But it's the lessons I learned. So it's about all kinds of things, starting with gratitude, starting with forgiveness, with cherishing every moment, living spontaneously, all kinds of lessons in there. But as a hypnotherapist, I did graduate from HMI, which is Hypnosis Motivational Institute out in Tarzana, California. It was the only accredited school for hypnotherapy in the nation. So I had a year-long course with clinical hours. I had a residency, the whole bit. So I know my stuff. So what I want to do right now is I want to start off, I want everybody to close their eyes. And I want you to take in a deep, deep breath. And in that breath, breathing in that calm, relaxed, and breathe in with intent of what it is that you want to learn today, what it is you want to find for yourself. And when you exhale, release, let go of any stress, tension, any anxiety, fears, doubts, anything negative, just let it go. And then open your eyes. And now you're all ready to learn because you're calm and relaxed and you can't feel two opposing emotions at once. So when you're calm and relaxed, you're not having any fear. And when we talk about wealth and finances, there's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of fear of failure. There's a lot of fear of success. There's a lot of fear of the unknown. So a lot of these things, unfortunately, we are programmed negatively. And that's just a fact. You know, how many of you have heard money doesn't grow on trees? We've all heard that. So building onto that, you go on to school and you don't get an A on that test, and mom and dad say, why didn't you get an A on that test? Why did you get a C? You know, that's just not good enough. So you have that fear to begin with, that money doesn't grow on trees, and then you've built onto it this fear of failure because I've failed. So it goes on, and these are all parts of your subconscious mind. So on the second page of your handout, you have a thing called theory of mind, and that's what I'm going to do right here with you. When you're born, you have 4 things and 4 things only. And it's down here in the bottom, which is called the primitive area. And down there, you've got fight and you've got flight. Fight is your stress. Flight is how you escape it. You also have a fear of loud noises, and you have a fear of falling. So when you come into the world, that's it. That's all you have. Up until age 8, you're developing this bottom portion of your mind, which is your subconscious mind. You take in everything. You don't question anything because you don't have the ability. You don't have logic. You don't have rationalization. You don't have the things that you need to really question anything. So you may have an association to, I hate broccoli, and yet you've never, ever had broccoli. But when you were 3 years old, mom said over and over again, I don't make broccoli because it stinks up the house. Therefore, you developed that negative association to broccoli, and you've never even had broccoli. We have all kinds of associations. A lot of us have the association of, you know, mom saying, finish what's on your plate. There are starving children. You know, so we finish everything on our plate. Be kind when you go to somebody else's house. Be respectful. So using that same association, you grow up and you're, say, 12 years old, and you go to your friend's house and you're having dinner. And oh my gosh, she's serving broccoli. You start to sweat. You're going, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I don't want to eat broccoli, but I have to. So you take the broccoli, and she puts a little cheese sauce on it, and you just take a little bite, and you're just dreading it, and you taste it and you go, well, that's not bad. And so then you start to question, why didn't I like broccoli? So it goes on. So this is your subconscious mind. Okay. Then around between 8 and 9, you start to develop this middle portion of your mind, which is the critical mind. It serves as a filter, gatekeeper to the subconscious mind. Not going to let anything in there that it doesn't already know, whether it's a negative or a positive. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't know it, not getting in. So then around age 9, you develop the conscious mind, which is your logic, decision-making, rationalization, willpower, all your superior judgment. This is where you start to question things. Okay, so using an example that, you know, has nothing to do with anything, but you got a 5-year-old child. It's the day after Christmas. He got every single toy that he wanted. He's lined everything up in the living room. He's pushed back all the furniture. He's so excited to play with all his toys. All of a sudden, he hears mom come into the kitchen from outside, screaming, throwing her purse down, throwing the keys, slamming the door, yelling at everybody in the kitchen. I'm so stressed out. This is just ridiculous. All of you, and she's getting closer, and you start to cower away from those toys because you're a little scared. She's mad. She comes in, she sees the furniture all moved, and she says, oh, I've had it up to here. I can't take any more stress. You all just need to leave me alone. I'm going outside. I'm smoking a cigarette, and don't anybody bother me. So she goes out. Well, you're still cowered away from that toy because she's coming back, and she's really, really angry. A few minutes goes by. She comes back in. She comes right up to him. She says, sweetie, what do you want for dinner? That little 5-year-old boy now has an association of Mom was mad. She smoked a cigarette. She came back in and now she's happy. She said she was stressed. She smoked a cigarette and now she's not stressed. Smoking relieves stress. Positive association, even though we all know smoking's not good for you, but to that kid, smoking relieves stress and it's a good thing. Fast forward 20 years, he gets a really stressful job, probably in finance, probably working on Wall Street. What's he most likely going to do? He's going to start to smoke because his subconscious mind already knows smoking relieves stress. Fast forward another 10 years and he says, why am I smoking? It's expensive. It stinks. I'm coughing. I'm not going to see my children grow up. And I've got every reason in the world to stop. So he's used his logic. He's made a decision, rationalized. He's done all that. He sends that message down, gets to that critical mind, which is almost like a search engine. Because remember, this is the gatekeeper to the subconscious mind. So it's searching, finds this association and says, oh, wait a minute. Smoking relieves stress. We're not going to stop doing that. So it takes it, bounces it right out. That's why people can stop smoking, but then they start again, or they just can't. So through hypnotherapy, what we do, we get the mind, body, emotions, everything is into a very relaxed state. We penetrate this critical mind. We go down, we find that association because it's like a search engine, just searching, find the association. And we say, we don't want you anymore. Get out. Anytime you get rid of something, you've got to replace it. So we talk about it and it's, what can you do? You sit at a desk, what can you do? And we come up with something called mindful breathing because you're doing the same thing, but without the cigarette. So he says, yeah, that's something I can do. So we say, okay, that's what we're going to replace. Smoking relieves stress and we're going to replace it with mindful breathing, relieve stress. And that way he can become a permanent non-smoker. Now, how do you get rid of associations? Actually, through your dreams. You have 3 types of dreams. You have the dreams that when you first fall asleep, they're reflective. A lot of times we don't think we're dreaming. We think we are just thinking about it because it's, what did I do today? What did I accomplish? Then you have your REM sleep, which is your predictive dreams. What's going to happen tomorrow? For me, it's always, what's the weather and what am I wearing? But, they're just, they're fast forward, so then you have those really intense dreams within 120 minutes of waking up, where you wake up and you go, whoa, what was that? And you try to lay back down and you want to finish the dream and then it's gone. You can't remember what it is. Those are called early morning venting dreams. And that is where you get rid of all these associations that no longer serve you. Now, this part of your mind down here is 88% of your total mind. The part up here that you think with, 12. So that just shows you how powerful your subconscious mind is. So when you're thinking about things like self-limiting beliefs, you don't believe that you can be successful. You don't believe that you can have the wealth that you deserve. Those are all self-limiting beliefs. And they're pretty powerful down here when you think about it. 88% of your total mind is your subconscious mind. So it's everything you've taken in and how you've dealt with it. The thing is, you can change those self-limiting beliefs. You can, instead of thinking I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough, you are good enough. In my office, especially when kids come in, there are rules. First of all, no judgment. Second of all, I can, I will, I do. None of this I can't, I won't, I don't, because you can. I have a big thing on my wall that says, if you believe it, you can achieve it. So it's just about turning the mindset to be positive. Getting rid of the negative stuff, getting rid of, your past is guilt, your future is worry and fear. Best place to be right here, right now, and work on the mindset. You can take those deep breaths anytime, and you just clear your mind and you say to yourself, I can do it. I can, I will, I do. So am I good for time?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was just
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't want to go over, but like I said, your past is represented by guilt. There's 3 parts to the past, which they're not Freud, they're not Erickson, they're Pam. You have acceptance. You did things in the past, you made poor decisions, whatever. It's the past. Can you change it? No. The only thing you can do is accept it. We don't have time machines, so we can't go back. The second thing is forgiveness. And when I say forgiveness, it's not condoning what you said or what you did or what anybody else said or did. It's simply taking what you have already accepted. Maybe it was a bad financial decision that you made. You've accepted it. Don't hold on to the negative emotions that are attached to it. You let them go. And then you can go on to the third step, which is choices. We make choices every single day. Some are good, some are not so good, but we learn from both of them. And if you can take those lessons and bring them into your present, you can close the door on the past. Every day it's going to sweep under the rug. Just sweep under that door. Just keep going. We're not going to worry about the future because that is fear and worry. How many of you remember Y2K? We were going from 1999 to 2000 and the world was going to melt and we were all going to melt.
In our lifetimes.
But the world was going to end. And you get to New Year's Eve and you're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. And everybody looks around and says, wait, we're still here. You spent all those months worrying and being anxious. And what good did it do? You could walk into a bar and there's a big sign that says free beer tomorrow. And you're so excited because you love, love, love beer. So you tell the bartender, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm so excited. He gives you the big thumbs up and you go and you come back the next day and okay, I'm ready for my free beer. And he says, what free beer? And he says, the sign is right there. It says free beer tomorrow. And I was here yesterday. And he says, yeah, but that's free beer tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't come. Tomorrow becomes today. Today becomes yesterday. Be in the present and live your life with intent. And that's the most important thing I can tell you. So
awesome. Here, okay. Does anybody have any questions here while I scroll through the comments? You stay here.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, Paul.
Can you tell us about, you do hypnotherapy, particularly vivid success story?
Oh my God.
So just in case they couldn't hear, he's asking for a hypnotherapy success story.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to give you the most unbelievable, unbelievable. I do past life regression therapy. So it's going back into, if you believe in reincarnation and deja vu and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Going back into a past life. I had a girl, she was, I think 28, came to me. She, for 6 years, had neck pain and went to countless doctors, orthopedics, chiropractors, acupuncture. Couldn't find one thing wrong, no disc out of place. Everything looked perfect. Finally, one doctor said, it's in your mind. It is all in your mind. And she's like, it's not in my mind. Somebody suggested she see a hypnotherapist. So she called me and she came in to work on pain control. And as we were talking, it just kind of occurred to me that maybe this is coming from somewhere else. So I asked her if she'd be open to, past life. And she said, yeah, absolutely. She was like, this is cool. So she came in the next week. We did it. And, so I bring her down, and she's in the body of, and all of a sudden starts speaking fluent French. And I'm like, okay. Brought her back up, said, can you understand me? And she's like, yes. I took 5 years of French. So I knew a few, phrases and words, and started to realize she was in the French Revolution. She was talking about Louis XIV. She was talking about the Reign of Terror, all this stuff. And then you take them to the day before the death of that life. And she said it was dark. She was alone. There was dirt. But, she had described her shoes. They were black with buckles on them. And, so she was talking in a deeper voice. So I knew she was a man. And she said there was nobody around. She was all by herself. So then you move into the death of that life. She died by guillotine, which would explain some pretty massive neck pain. So we spent 4 or 5 sessions after that, letting go of that past life and letting go of that pain. And she's been pain-free since.
Wow.
So again, how powerful is the mind to be able to really go into a, you know, your cell membrane goes from one life to the next life to the next life. If you believe in that kind of stuff, you know, it travels with you. So hers came to this life from that life and causes some pretty painful neck stuff, dying by guillotine. So yeah, that, you know, I said, that's really out of the ordinary. I mean, but it was like, I just sat there the whole time with my mouth open, just going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I'm guessing we could probably talk all day, but everybody probably has past life issues.
Probably, you know, that's what brought me to Charleston. I did a past life regression because I had a pull to Charleston. I was living in Los Angeles and I said, I don't know why I have this pull to go to Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know anybody there. I don't have any family there. I mean, I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee, but why Charleston? But, you know, and in my past life, I was in the Civil War. I was not a soldier. I was a healer, which of all things, becoming a hypnotherapist and being in Charleston, I was like, well, I'm moving to Charleston. So that's what I did. So.
Okay, does anybody on our virtual panel have any questions for Miss Pam? And then I'm going to hold this up a little bit so everybody can see the bottom. It's, you guys, it's seriously, between Pam and I, it's short people problems. Anybody else in here have questions?
Here asked if Pam does virtual appointments and all
The best way to make an appointment is on my website. It's www.myhypnofrog, myhypnofrog.com. And also on my website, there's a lot of just really useful information. You know, I try to blog and I try to get stuff out there, especially, you know, if I have a week where I see, you know, 5 people that have an issue with emotional eating, you know, I'll do a blog on emotional eating because obviously there's something going on in the universe that people are having an issue with. So, but it's, you know, there's a link there to make an appointment with me. I tend to not do first session virtuals, but depending on the issue, I can do virtual at any time. Just depends on what the issue is.
Well, Kara is either going to have to come down here from Raleigh or do the virtual.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody at all? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Are we doing these things or no?
Yes, yes. So I'll have, so you guys, so she's got 2 sessions and she's got 2 books she's going to give away. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Naomi collect the names. We're going to go into random picker, and then we've got some prizes that we're going to be giving away throughout the day as well. So with that being said, Joe, are you ready, my friend? Can you hand me my phone, Pam? Thanks. Okay, so next we have Joe Evangelisti, and you guys, he has been so great to partner with, and I am just so excited that he's going to be here sharing with us. I also put in the comments, so it's actually Robert Michael on Instagram. So everything that I put in the comments, you guys, so I'll go through that again. It's Dave Cares for You, Dave Jose on YouTube. It is the General_Executor. That's Robert Michael on Instagram. And then Freedom Law School. That's Payman, but I don't know how to say his last name, but you can find him. He's all over the place. So yeah, you guys were running just a little bit ahead of time. That's a good thing, right? So I'm just waiting here for Joe. We told him 11 o'clock.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hi. Okay, so
Hello.
I'm going to turn. So you guys, so this is Joe Evangelisti. He's out of New York. I'm going to let him tell his story because he started flipping homes too in his career. And now you guys, he's building $12 to $15 million self-storage units, and he's helping people invest their money. They're making a great return on investment. So Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. You can tell your story, and then I'm going to give you the host controls so you can share your PowerPoint.
Thank you, Toni, for putting this together. Super appreciative of it, and hopefully you guys get a lot out of this. And I know there's a lot of speakers, a lot of great information, and I'm going to kind of go fast because, you know, I can only talk about so much in investing in Class A self-storage in 20 minutes. But I'm going to go through this, you know, pretty quickly, talk about what we do a little bit, and then kind of open it to Q&A. but also give you guys an opportunity to follow up with us later on if you have any questions or want to know how to get involved. Or, honestly, I'm a real abundance mindset guy. If you just want to talk about business, try to understand the business more, ask questions, all that kind of thing, we'll give you guys some access to do that at the end of the presentation as well. So talk about passive income money mindset, right? Why we made the switch from the single family world to building Class A assets like the one you guys see here on your screen. So a little bit about myself. My name is Joe Evangelisti from a town called Haddonfield, New Jersey. We're about 10 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And I am a Navy veteran. I spent about 6 years in the Navy Seabees, which are the construction battalions of the Navy. Spent my whole life in construction. My dad was a general contractor, so I grew up as a kid on job sites all the time. So I've always been in construction, always loved building things, always loved the idea of taking something and that was nothing and turning it into something, right? Whether it's renovating a kitchen or putting on an addition or building, what you saw there, 100,000 square foot Class A self-storage. For about the first 10, 12 years of my career, we flipped houses. They called me the Flip King at one point. We did about 1,000 fix and flips over the course of that 12 years, and it was a super high volume. A lot of them buy, fix, and flip. We did a lot of new construction. We built some apartment complexes, some office buildings, and eventually, quite frankly, got burnt out, right? We were doing high volume. Like our last year, we did almost 90 flips. And when you do stuff at that high level, that high volume, transactionally, turnover, anybody that's doing it at high level will tell you it's a lot of moving pieces. And really wanted to find something I could transition into that was more scalable, that was more manageable, and that was more efficient and effective. And that's when I found commercial development self-storage, specifically very simple to build, right? And we can get into nuts and bolts, but basically it's concrete, steel, and asphalt, right? We built a 100,000 square foot facility, which essentially has 2 or 3 toilets in it, and really very few wear and tear parts. It's just all concrete and steel, right? So very, very simple to maintain and to manage, very low, damaged goods. Nothing's going bad or needs updating. So very simple to maintain and to cash flow. And so 9-figure entrepreneur, we've crossed that in the last 4 years, and currently primarily self-storage investing. So how do we do it? Well, now I started to get into a little bit about my burnout, right? We did houses like this, single families, fix and flip. You see a lot of drywall going on there. My dad was a drywall contractor, so that was really my first 20 years of my life was in the drywall and the trenches. Again, a lot of horror stories, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of catching up and transactional, trying to just make payroll, right? When you're doing 90 some houses a year, you're trying to make closings happen every single week just to get the bills, just to pay your bills and stay on top of things. And what I found was through that course of time, we always, when you get your tax return at the end of the year, right, you're making money, but we never seem to have money, right? And anybody ever feel themselves in that position, right? You feel like you're constantly churning cash, but you're never really building wealth and you never seem to have the money on hand. Well, that was really the fix and flip business for us, right? We constantly made money, but we never had wealth. And so, transitioning into more Class A type facilities, these are legacy projects, right? And that's why we call ourselves today legacy developers. We're building long-term cash flowing wealth creation vehicles that, traditionally your single family homes, you have a hard time doing that. And by the way, I'm not knocking the single family fix and flip business, by the way. I trained and helped hundreds of people do that business as well. Now I help people transition from that business into doing, more complex commercial projects like this. And so one of the beautiful things about this is it creates many streams of income, and it can help create other folks some streams of income as well. And the beautiful thing is, again, guys, we're talking not that many toilets. We're talking not a lot of project management nightmares. We're talking, in COVID, we still have a lot of single family doors. What happened in COVID? We had COVID rules and COVID regulation and eviction moratoriums, and a lot of tenants decided not to pay their rent. The beautiful thing about, self-storage is you're storing people's stuff, and not a lot of rules are consumer driven around self-storage. So we didn't see any COVID eviction process and freezing and things like that during the COVID times. And so therefore we're really kind of insulated from a lot of those things that you see in the residential world. And again, turnover is so much easier, right? When somebody moves out of a unit, even if they leave it in bad shape, what do? We go in there with a broom and or a blower, and we blow it out, clean it out. It's ready for the next tenant within an hour. When you're dealing with apartments or single family rentals, sometimes those turnovers can be extremely costly. And I know a lot of you have probably dealt with tenants and dealt with rentals before. And sometimes you get those turnovers, they cost you a couple months worth of rent, where a tenant can badly destroy, countertops or some of the hard surfaces, which are extremely expensive. Again, self-storage, steel, concrete, right? They really can't do too much damage that's irreplaceable or irreparable in a quick time frame. We can't just sweep it out and be ready for the next tenant. So turnover is a very quick thing and very easy. And so some of the mindsets that we want to talk about today is changing that mindset of I can't put money to work to my money should be working for me. I love what Toni led off with this morning. She's working on her 8th stream of income. And they say that most millionaires in this country have a minimum 6 streams of income. Now, don't get overwhelmed with that and think, oh my God, I only have 1. How am I going to create 6? Guys, we're talking your savings account could be a stream of income, even though it's a teeny stream, right? Start somewhere. These automatic savings plans, you're going to hear about your infinite banking concept, creating wealth through, life insurance policies and all these other things. There's such a, amazing panel of smart people here talking today. Even if you take one thing away from those, that's going to create having money work for you, right? That's the best way to create a new stream of income. Just pick one, whatever thing makes sense at the time. The most important thing you can do is create some kind of consistency. One of my old mentors used to say, the art is in the start, right? Just get going. Just get going in one thing, in one direction. Whether it's an automatic savings of $5 a day, or you finally allotted, amass some cash and you want to park it somewhere, there's ways to do that. So before I move on to the next slide, if this is helpful for you guys, throw a comment, say, put a number 1 in the comments and tell me, this is working for you. Because I want to give you guys something, and I want to make sure it's engaging for you guys, that this is something, if the real estate's in your portfolio, or you're thinking about real estate, or you want to get into real estate, or maybe real estate is overwhelming for you, and that's okay too, because I think real estate is overwhelming for a lot of people, and that's okay. I want you guys to understand that, until you get educated in real estate, it can be overwhelming, and it can feel like, wow, I could never get involved. By the way, guys, going back to that, huge facility, which we're going to show more pictures of, we have 15 of them in the works now. And there was a time not too long ago, 4 years ago, where I stood on a patch of dirt that was, tree covered. And I stood there with my business partner and I said, my God, are we going to be able to build 100,000 square foot facility on this land? Like, are we capable of this? This is like overwhelming. I can't even imagine us doing this. And here we are with a finished facility that's actually, knock on wood, going to closing with a buyer in a couple weeks for a big chunk of money. And we have multiple facilities behind that are built, actually going to New York next week for a grand opening of our 4th facility. We have multiples behind that are getting ready to be finished. So it's a very exciting thing. And the point is, you have to get going, right? You have to put one foot in front of the other. So whether it's your first, small investment into a piece of real estate, or maybe it's your first duplex that you're buying, or, you're just saving up and you're putting money into a REIT. I firmly believe that having money in real estate is a very smart move, even if it's a small portion of your overall investment strategy. And it doesn't even have to be with me. Just finding ways to own real estate is a very lucrative move. All right, so we got some ones. Real estate is so overwhelming for me. That's why I partner with people. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's Toni right now. Yeah, no, it can be very overwhelming. It can be scary. And frankly, it was for me for years before I started to get comfortable. And now, we do deals that make me slightly uncomfortable because I'm learning as we grow and pushing ourselves to be uncomfortable. So I think that's the thing about real estate. Your deals should constantly be pushing you just a little bit, because that's how we learn. That's how we get better. And, frankly, I think some of us don't even pause to reflect, to go, man, look at where we're at right now. And look how far we've come in the last 10 years, right? And it can seem overwhelming very easily. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that. There's nothing wrong with raising your hand and saying, hey, I'd love to buy more, but I just don't even understand how to start. And frankly, just as a sidebar, I have a coaching client right now trying to buy an office. it's overwhelming for them, but frankly, it's crazy for them not to. They have amazing business. They have an amazing revenue structure. They're paying crazy amounts of rent. So if you're in that situation, something to think about, guys. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, buy the piece of real estate that you're sitting in every single day paying crazy rent for. Invest in the long-term proposition of the upside potential of that real estate. We jumped into rental portfolios late 19, 4 units, really went crazy, buying 20 more doors, COVID. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, we'll keep going. So we're going to give a prize away. I'm going to give you 2 things. This QR code that's on the screen. If you guys want to talk to myself, my team further, because I only have 20 minutes to talk to you guys, go ahead and click this link right now. I think it's going to ask for your name, email, and phone number. It'll put you into our investor portal, which will tag either myself or my partner Hone, who's my legacy investments partner, to reach out to you, touch base, and literally no sale. He's going to say to you, because you've come in through the Money Mindset portal, he's going to say, how can we help? Right? You want to learn more about investing? Do you want to learn more about real estate? Do you just want to learn more about legacy? No pressure. If you want to invest, great. We can work through what that looks like. If you just want to learn more, that's cool. But either way, if you guys register right now with this QR code, at the end of my presentation in about 10 minutes, we're going to pick a winner. We're going to give you guys a $100 Amazon gift card live. And I'm going to send you a copy of our book, The Legacy Wealth Blueprint. This is literally written from the perspective of, when we transitioned into self-storage, how did we create the business model to partner with amazing people like Toni to go out and build Class A self-storage and make it lucrative for everybody involved. That's why we created the term legacy, because we want to build legacy with our partners. So every one of our investors, every one of our partners is actually an equity partner in these deals in perpetuity. So if it's interesting to you guys, click that link, go ahead and throw your information in, and we'll set up a call with you guys next week. A quick call, 15 minutes. No, like I said, no pressure. All right, wealth creation. So let's talk about how we create wealth. In a property like this that you guys are looking at, again, this one sells in 2 weeks, knock on wood, right? We're all in about 14 million. This is a 734 units. Now, we don't really do units, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm telling you how many units. This is about a 100,000 square foot net rentable. So when we talk about self-storage, we talk about how many square feet we can rent, not how many doors we can rent. But this particular one has 734 units, and our income, when it's fully rented up, is around $1.4 million. That'll make it a valuation of about $23 million. So you guys can see we created a equity of about $9 million in value creation. Now, it takes us about 1.5 years to build something like this, and another 1.5 years to fill it with tenants, which is why when you look at a project like this, it's about a 3-year commitment. Right. But I'm telling you that there's such a demand for these in so many areas. It's so interesting. A lot of people say, man, I'm seeing these go up everywhere. And my answer to them is yes, call the number and try to find a unit, right? Because most of these places are 90% plus occupied. And so you're going to have a hard time finding a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 15 or a 5 by 5. You're going to have a hard time finding a unit in a lot of these places because they're full. And that's the reason that they keep getting built. Right, we're looking in areas that have high demand, and so the supply is too low, and we're trying to fill the supply in those good areas that have high demand, and we're trying to compensate. This particular unit's interesting. There was 300,000 feet of demand in the area, and we built a 100,000 square foot facility. So you guys do the math, right? Nothing else has been built since, so this is ramping up very fast, getting good tenants and good rents. So little math equation for you guys, 734 units, right? If we increase the rent by $10 per unit, now this is how commercial real estate works. And this is why I absolutely love it. No, again, I'm not knocking single family, but how does a single family house get valued? It gets valued by emotionally what a buyer is willing to pay for it. Really, that's it. It's emotionally how attracted and how invested they are and how much they're willing to write a check for it. That's really it, guys, right? Commercial real estate, on the other hand, is valued by how much money it nets, or what's called NOI, net operating income. So in a very simple fashion, if I were to add $10 per unit, I'm going to get you guys to interact here, okay? If I had $10 per unit, 734 units, I want you guys to take a guess at how much that increases the value of this property, go ahead and take your guess and put it in the comments. $10 per unit increase, 734 units. How much money in value are we adding to this facility if I was able to just snap my fingers and add $10 per unit across the board? By the way, while you guys are doing that calculation, that $10 per unit is below average for what the yearly increase is going on inside of this industry right now. This is just a rough exercise. All right, here we go. So we're getting some guesses. Someone said 100 grand, almost $1 million. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, and I'm going to go over it. Keep guessing. Put your guesses in there. We got 100 grand. We got $1 million. So we're increasing $10 per month, 734 units, $88,000, $100,000. All right. Who wants to do? Can somebody else come on live? Toni, can you turn your mic back on? I'm going to show you guys how to do this math live, just so you can see it, so I'm not cheating you. Somebody grab a calculator.
Everybody has one. So yeah, we've got ranges all the way up to $1 million from 750K.
Okay. All right, good. Who's got a calculator? You ready?
Joe, they're waiting. Hey, the other thing is, didn't you mention to me that CubeSmart made a major investment?
Yeah, CubeSmart's our partner on a lot of deals too. So yeah, Cube manages most of our facilities. Extra Space is really tight with us. So yeah, part of why we do what we do, guys, and this is kind of a side to the training, but we build Class A facilities. Class A is these big 100,000 square foot facilities, right? A lot of us see, and again, I'm not knocking the smaller ones. Everyone thinks that like, oh, Joe only builds the big ones. I build these because this is what the big REITs invest in, right? Your Extra Smarts, your Extra Space, your Public Storage, your Cube Smarts, they buy these size sites, right? They don't buy your little 15 car garages with no security and no person working the front desk. Like, they don't look at those type of sites. And those sites cash flow. Those sites are great. I'm not knocking those type of sites, but when I want to go exit a portfolio, I want 100 of these, right? Because I'm going to get the absolute best value for me and my investors. So we specifically at Legacy only build the big boys like this. We only build Class A, 80,000 plus square foot sites. All right, he's got a calculator. You guys ready? Somebody do this. 734 times 10. Is Toni doing it? Who's doing it? Toni, you're muted.
We all have our phones out.
All right, times 10, right, is what? 7,340. All right, times 12, because you got 12 months in a year, is what?
88,000.
Okay.
$80.
We're going to divide that by 5%.
So Melissa said 1.7 million.
$1.76 million by doing a simple $10 rate increase on each unit in this facility. Okay. Now, again, I'm keeping it super simple for you guys. And, a lot of you guys super analytical are going to go, oh, well, there's some expense. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes and no. But somewhere in that range, right? The average, what I just used with you guys is called a cap rate. In commercial real estate is traded by cap rates. And so a 5 cap or a 5% cap rate is right around the average what these Class A facilities trade for in the US right now across the country. In fact, in last year in 2022, the average was 4.6, which would make that number higher than 1.7. So I'm kind of being a little bit conservative. Okay, so that's how we add value to commercial real estate. And so the reality of it is, again, your single families, again, I love them, I own them, but you can't exactly add intrinsic value to a buyer just by saying, whatever, right? I'm going to add $10 income. In here, we can manipulate the income a lot easier than, say, an apartment complex or a lot of other types of office, like an office facility. There might be in 100,000 square foot, there might be 30 or 40 offices. In order to get that same rent increase, I might have to increase their rent per office by 20%. Whereas across the board, I can average that $10. It's a lot smaller hit across 734 units. That's just one way we manipulate price and valuation. So in the last 4 years, how much self-storage did we create? Well, we're on track to do about $260 million of self-storage creation. Those are projects that are either at completion or nearly at completion as far as stuff that we have entitled, designed, broke ground, and have in the pipeline to build. That's what Legacy owns today. That's not stuff that we have in the pipeline to buy. That's things that we've already purchased or partnered with JV partners to build. So again, talk about wealth creation. I don't think we did 260 million in the 14 years that we flipped houses. I don't think we did that much real estate. But when you in self-storage and commercial, again, remember when I talked about getting into this, I wanted scalability and I wanted efficiency. So obviously now I have a team that's about 10 people, where my old team was 50. So my team is about a quarter or less size, and we're able to scale at a way, way quicker magnitude and build, in my estimation, much better projects. So second piece of our money mindset, real estate creates wealth. Right? 90% of millionaires come from real estate, have some kind of money in real estate, own some equity in real estate. You guys have probably done one sheets or net worth calculators or personal financial statements. If you haven't done one of those things, I'm sure people are going to talk about that today. If you're in this room and you haven't done a PFS, if you haven't put down the things that you own and the cash value and the equity that you've created some way, shape, or form, write that down. Do yourself a favor, because what we track, we can create. What we track, we can manipulate. What we track, we can improve. So I don't care if your net worth is $100 or $100 million. But when you start to look at your net worth, you can start to actually move the chess pieces, and you can start to put money in different buckets. You can start to create actual valuation net worth for yourself. And so definitely create a PFS and make sure real estate is a piece of that. This is a quick. Oh,
hey guys, my name is Mike Fallett.
I don't know if you guys can hear this. Can you hear this?
Publishing. We worked with Joe Evangelisti and Dana Cornell on a book called The Legacy Wealth Blueprint. And it's all about self-storage investing. And I was immediately drawn to it because I have a background in being a landlord. I used to fix toilets and collect rent and deal with all that insanity. And I hated it for 12 years. So when he talked about self-storage investing, I just fell in love with it because there are no toilets, very low maintenance, less regulation. If a tenant doesn't pay, you can kick them out. And it's just fits my DNA. So about a year ago, I signed up, I tried it out, and I absolutely love it. I check the mailbox right around the 7th of every month, and I see the check there. It's amazing. So in addition to that, there's the equity, right? So there's the pref that we get monthly. There's the equity play, which is exactly why I got into it. And then the cash flow afterwards, and then after with the refi, and then whenever we go to sell it. So it's wild to see how easy it was to receiving money as compared to being a landlord, doing all that work and reaping the same type rewards financially. It's pretty wild. So highly recommend it for anybody who's out there looking to collect, more revenue monthly, create a new revenue stream, obtain equity in some vehicle. It's a growing demand. There are more people renting now than ever, and I think it's only going to increase. So I truly believe in self-storage. I myself rent for my vehicles and for books that we ship out to people. So I know that there's a need for it. There's a major demand. I do it myself. So I see other people doing it, and it's been great to me. So highly recommend it. And Joe, I've known him for a while now. I have full trust in his ability to come through. So great problem solver, great entrepreneur. damn good guy. So highly recommend it. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right. Well, I was actually surprised, and I think my team snuck that in there. I didn't even know that was there, frankly, guys. But that's our guy, Mike Fallett. A lot of you guys know him. Really good dude. My book publisher. I know Tony's a good friend, and I think that obviously from the comments, a lot of you guys know Mike as well. Mike's a great guy. If you don't know Mike, you should know Mike. I'm trying to go a little bit faster. I see the time here. Footprint, guys, we're all over the country right now. As far as we're basically Texas and East. We're working with the biggest REITs in the country, CubeSmart and Extra Space. And right now, we're moving west. So it's a team sport. There's a big chunk of our team right there last year in Nashville. And which brings me to the number 3, focus on your strengths, right? I'm really good with a hammer is about what I'm good at. I can develop stuff, right? But what makes us powerful as Legacy is I focus on hiring and partnering with the best in the business. So some of those guys in that picture are people who've been building self-storage for 25 years. People who have been helping in finances for 30 years. People who have been designing self-storage for 2 decades. So when we get into the business, it was about surrounding myself with incredible, knowledgeable self-storage masters, and then bolting on what we know about development and relationships and bringing in great partners to help us. So, for me, that's a big piece of money mindset is allowing unique ability to take control and stay in your zone of genius, what you're good at, and allow the rest of the team to do their thing. So where are we going next? Well, we got the whole rest of the country to tackle, left-hand side. So my acquisitions team has quite a few under contract in that little circle right now. In our pipeline, we're underwriting. Takes us about a year to get something from concept to design to closing. So we're in that process right now, buying some more stuff out west. And we are taking on incredible partners as we speak. And Toni and I communicate about this all the time, which is pretty cool. And opening up to talking to new partners and investors here soon. So again, that's what the QR code's all about. Oh, all right, let's pick a winner. So I'm going to blindly, it looks like we had, oh, you guys are awesome. It looks like we had like 20 people send us. All right, so I'm just going to go like this and I'm going to scroll and I'm going to blindly stop and I'm going to pick a winner. And then I'll open it up to Q&A. All right, so, all right, Madeline Stoll. Madeline, you're our winner, Madeline. So my team will connect with you, and we'll get you the gift card, and we'll get you a signed copy of the book. And who else? I don't know. Maybe we'll send you some cool swag and stuff in the mail too. So Madeline, I'm gonna write your name down. We're done this, so we'll send you some cool stuff. So thank you guys for participating. I'll open it up to Q&A. And by the way, here's my contact. If you guys want to get a hold of me, you're welcome to. Investwithlegacy.com is the site, and yeah, feel free to send me email, reach out, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. So,
Joe Harris has a question.
go ahead.
Understanding correctly, you are coaching people to then become an acquaintance so that you can do a 506B fund for investing. That's brilliant. Is that what you're doing?
I didn't understand a whole quick coaching people to do.
Can you come up and speak in the mic? You're not shy.
Are you doing 506B funds for people to invest in these self-storage units?
So they're syndicated deals. Yeah. So what happens is we sell LP shares to our co-investors with us. They are 506. You're quizzing me now. Are they B or C? They are.
B would be the non-accredited.
No, they're accredited. So I think it's C. C. I think it's actually C Reg D, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I have to go back and look at the paperwork. Yeah, you have to be accredited to invest in the syndication.
Okay.
Now we're working on right now in Legacy Investments. I was telling Toni about this the other week. We're working on a potential for a instead of being accredited, the next step down is what's called a sophisticated investor. And so we're working on an investment fund right now, which allows people who are not accredited to get in, because obviously you guys can imagine we have a slew of people who are not accredited. And we're just trying to figure out a safe way to do that, because I don't ever want to be the guy taking money from people who can't afford to God forbid, lose it, right? I mean, guys, we're in construction, so I just keep it straight up. Like, we build a self-storage facility and it gets hit by a hurricane, like, stuff goes wrong, right? So, it's not as if like anything in life is guaranteed. These are awesome investments and they work well, but stuff happens, right? So accredited investors, the reason that they're accredited is because they're capable of taking a hit when stuff happens. And most non-accredited investors, based on those criteria, definitely suffer more if God forbid something happens to that money, right? So we just want to be very safe with how we're investing with who, and make sure that we're not, I don't ever want to be, there's a lot of guys out there that do non-accredited stuff, and I'm not going to name names, but I feel like they're taking like the last $5,000 out of your grandmother's checking account. And like, I don't ever want to be that guy. I think I said that diplomatically enough. I hope.
So I just want to know if there's anybody out there that has questions. And then there's a question in the chat box from Paul. How can someone with no experience in flipping or any real estate jump into the self-storage creation?
So that's a great question, Paul. So really it depends on I hope you registered, and I hope that we hop on a call next week and talk about that, because it's really, that's a positional thing, right? That depends on, do you want to be an operator? Do you want to be an investor? Do you want to, what position in life are you know what I mean? There's so many things that go into that. And, it's not a 30-second answer, frankly. If it's something you truly want to do, 100%, I'll find a way to support you. If it's something you just want to be an investor and be more passive, there's a myriad of ways to do that with us and others. So yeah, I think it's a pretty tough question to answer, but definitely I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, I can use myself as that example, because I have zero real estate experience. And so when I was interviewing Joe to see if I wanted to invest with him, then, I have less than zero real estate experience. So it's been really a joy to work with him because it is seamless. I don't have time. I just want to know that he's reputable, that he's going to help us with an amazing ROI. Can't guarantee everything, which I get. But boy, oh boy, has this done so much more for us as far as one of our major investments than anything else that we've ever done.
All right. So I wish I was making this up. So Hone, my legacy investments partner, is texting me while I'm talking to you guys. And Kareth just asked, I hope I didn't butcher that. Is that how you say that, Kareth? So Hone just said the raffle winner is Kareth, right? Because I didn't know he was watching this with me. Apparently he's on. And they went and picked their own raffle winner. So I'm gonna double the winners, and we're gonna send a winner to both of you guys, because I picked Stoll randomly. So we're gonna send both of you guys a present, just because I didn't realize that the team was gonna pick a winner behind the scenes. So you're both gonna win, and we're gonna send you both some stuff. So just to keep it fair, because I didn't know my team was gonna select a winner. So and you're asking, what's accredited mean? You can Google accredited investor, but essentially it means that you as a married couple make, if you're married, a single person makes $200,000 a year, married couple makes $300,000 a year, or you have a net worth over $1 million a year, excluding your primary residence. So that means like you own an office building, or you own, an investment property, or you could have, there's so many ways you could justify this. I use my buddy who was a Master Chief retired Navy guy as an example all the time. Because when we did the accreditation process, he actually you can add up all of his projected retirement money over the next 40 years, and he becomes accredited, right? So there's so many ways you can create that net worth, and you can get tricky about it. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not advising you do it that you guys basically should talk to somebody who's in the investment space, and there's lots of them on the call today, to qualify you as accredited, but you can Google it too, and they'll show you exactly how to do it.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Thank you so much. And I know that other people are going to have questions. This has been like, for you to sit and educate as well as you do with the different layers of all this kind of stuff is just absolutely incredible. But you guys, I highly encourage you. I've probably sent you at least 50 or 60 referrals since I've met you.
Yeah.
But you need to get with him and get on that 15-minute phone call, because he goes even into more in depth about it. And you guys, even if I can understand it, because I suck at numbers, right? I don't understand them. I never tried to pretend to, but I am going to surround myself with experts that are going to understand and help me to help you guys and to help build our legacy for our family and for our and for my grandkids, because I got grandkids now. All right. Joe, thanks so much. It was great hearing from you today. And I know we're going to be seeing each other here soon.
Yeah. Thanks again, Toni. Thanks for having me. And I appreciate you guys. You've been great. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, thank you so much. So Joe, that was awesome. I love every time I hear him speak. It's just like I'm glued. But okay, so you guys, we have two more folks that are going to share with you, and this is where we're going to get into automation, software, all the cool stuff about marketing. But so I actually talked to Steven, and Steven is a good friend of mine. I met him through a mastermind. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're not surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, then you need to be. And this is why I do these masterminds. It's how I met. It's how I actually met. I didn't actually meet Joe. I met him through Mike, my book publisher. But I met Steven through a mastermind that I had participated in for over a year. We became good friends. They're good customers of ours. And he called me on Tuesday with this really exciting thing that he's doing. And it's still in beta, but you guys, it is going to change. If you have clients and customers, it's going to change how you do business. So this is really cool. So Steven, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
All right, brother. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you. So before you get started, so you guys, Steven, he's involved in the real estate space, but I love this guy because he geeks out at things like, when he's excited about something. And when he called me and he was explaining,
ADD, by the way,
because I don't work with AI at all. It's not my forte. This is why we have experts that are going to share this with you. He's developed something really, really cool. And I asked him to come and share because I know one thing building our CRM software platform is that you have to be doing the follow-up. You have to be doing the sharing and anyways, I'm going to let you explain it because you're a lot better than I am at this, Steven. So if you can come on.
All right. Well, so we're going to talk about some AI stuff today. We're going to go into like a little bit of the background of AI. We're going to talk about, what we've been developing, but I wanted to talk a little bit about myself and my background and what I do. We're talking a lot about money mindset, right? And so just to give you an idea of like where my money mindset is, I'll give you a brief overview. I'm also like Toni, I'm unemployable, like grossly unemployable. Like, yeah, but that's not to say that I haven't had W-2 jobs in the past. I've had a number of them, right? And because they're like, hey, you're not qualified for this, but you're qualified for that. And so anyway, there's a bunch of different W-2s I've had over the years. And one thing that I've realized by going through all of these different levels in my life is I'm the one who's really in control of my destiny. I'm the one who is the driver, right? I'm in the driver's seat. And if I'm not the one actually controlling the steering wheel, then who's guiding my life through its path? And so I've been somewhat self-employed since about 2004. I was in the real estate industry. I was in mortgage. We had a mortgage brokerage firm here in LA. I'm in LA, by the way, if nobody knew that. I'm just north of LA, about 45 minutes or so. And so we were in the mortgage industry until everything, hit the fan in 08, 09. We lost our asses big time. We lost all kinds of stuff, all kinds of properties. And so, I've been on the high. And then when that happened and everything crashed, I literally had to take a job as a helper at my buddy's roofing company. My buddy owned a roofing company. We did a lot of business together, and he saw everything crumble for me. And so I went to him, with my tail between my legs, and I said, hey, I really need some work. And so he ended up taking me in, and I was literally the helper in the truck. I was in the passenger. I wasn't even allowed to drive the truck yet. That was my position. And so I had to rebuild from there. So I worked for his company for about a year and a half, and basically being the helper. And then from being the helper, I went into the office. I started helping with estimating. And then from estimating, they had another project that they were going to launch. It was this invention that they had created to walk on roofs without breaking tiles and stuff. And they put me in charge of that particular project. Well, like with anything in that time, 2010, 11, the construction industry had really big issues as well, right? And so they had a massive pullback. So they had to let me go. And so there I was, unemployed again. And what was I going to do? So I started another business, and I started out in the motorcycle industry. I loved motorcycles and anything with horsepower, like engines, airplanes, cars, like I'm all about it. So I started a motorcycle shop, and I brought in a partner. We did well for a couple of years, and then I realized that there's no money in motorcycles. Everybody wants to be your buddy, your bro, your homie, your dog, your whatever, and they all want a discount on stuff. And friendship doesn't keep the lights on, unfortunately. And so I decided to sell my half of the business to him. And at that point, once I exited the motorcycle industry, my father-in-law came back to me and he said, "Hey, I could really use your help in our construction company. We need some operational excellence here. We need some managers to come in and take care of some big projects." And so he brought me in, and we have a residential construction company still to this day here in Southern California. And we do huge estate homes, brand new ground up construction. We also do residential remodels. And so he brought me in as a partner after about a year. And we still currently have that company to this day. So I've been in a number of different industries, and we also currently have a tax credit company, a specialty tax credit company where we help businesses get government grants and tax credits and things like that. But the point of me telling you all this stuff is, even if you're super high and you're like, "Oh, I'm doing so well, I feel like I'm doing so good," it's inevitable that you're going to have challenges. It's inevitable that you're going to get chopped down a couple rungs, right? It's always 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's with anything in life. It's not just in business. It could be in family or marriage or maybe even your faith. But the important thing to remember is getting your mindset right in order to pick yourself back up. So I get knocked down in the mortgage industry. We lose a lot. And I mean, like, we lost millions of dollars. We had a 100-unit apartment complex that we were about to go ground up, and it was only 2 partners and myself. And there was no syndication, no outside money. And that thing, to this day, somebody asked me like about a month ago, "Hey, how much would that be worth these?" I'm like, "Thank you for asking, you dick." Like, I don't. But at this point, that thing probably would have been worth somewhere in the range of $25 million, and it would have been 3 partners. But if you think about that kind of stuff, I had to go take that L, right? That lesson. I had to go, that seminar in life. I had to go take that to humble myself, to realize, like, okay, I can pick myself back up. I can lift myself back up and move myself into a different rung and take all of those lessons and move forward. So that's my brief background. Of course, like, we can all talk about ourselves for hours, right? And that's just kind of how that works. So let me talk about AI a little bit. I can't see anybody's hands, but I'm going to ask you to raise them anyways. Who has worked with AI? Who's used, like, everybody kind of knows or has heard about Chat GPT? Has anybody used Chat GPT? Toni, you have? Okay. Never? Not really? Maybe? Okay. So a little bit. And what I'm finding more and more is people know about AI, they hear about AI, but they don't really understand kind of what it is. And Lisa Stubbs is coming in. All right, Lisa, come on in. So as far as what we know about AI and what the majority of the population knows about AI, the way that I can kind of compare it to is, I'm going to date myself too here. Does everybody remember when the internet came around? Does everybody remember AOL Instant Messenger? You remember the dial-up tone, don't you? It's like burned into my brain. Yeah, I remember it took like 4 minutes for one picture to load. And now in 4 minutes, we can download 10 full-length movies. It's insane, right? And so that's what AI is doing to the world. So the internet revolution was a revolution. Just like the Industrial Revolution was a revolution, the internet revolution was another one that has changed the face of the planet. Now AI is coming into place, and it's going to change the face of the planet like nothing we've ever seen before. It's going to change the face of every single thing that we know is true in the world. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm actually super excited about it, right? And there's people on both sides of it. People are like, oh my God, world domination, AI is going to take down the earth. Not entirely true, but it will change the face of the earth. And so in what ways? I mean, use your imagination, right? Use your imagination about what AI is going to do. But what I think it's going to do is change the landscape of the job market. It's going to turn the job market on its head. It really is. Anything that can be automated will be automated by AI. And we're only in the inception. And what I mean by that is ChatGPT just came out at the end of last year, mid-November of last year. Now we're on the 4th generation of ChatGPT. And it just keeps on getting better and better and better. And now, of course, Google's in the run, Microsoft's in the run, Apple has got their own thing that, you know, Apple's always late to the party, but it's usually because they're developing something really, really cool. And so with all that being said, what we've done is we've taken AI and we've created a sales bot. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a sales bot is or what a bot in general is. If you use any kind of social media, have you ever messaged someone and got a response like right away? And you're like, well, that's probably not a human. That's a bot. Now, if you start interacting with that bot, you almost know immediately, like, oh, this is just a computer generated response, like whatever. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. And so what we've done is we've created a conversational bot where you will never know that you're talking to a computer. When you ask it, are you a bot? It says, no, I'm Steven. This thing it's wild because you can ask it anything and it has empathy. It can sense intonation and it will respond to you in like a genuine way, not just like some canned response as if like, if the customer asks this, answer this. This is not that at all. This thing actually has critical thinking skills. Now, of course, we control all of the parameters of it. It's not going to just run wild and, of course, take over the earth. But what it will do is it will have 1,000 conversations simultaneously with whoever you want it to have conversations with. And so the way that we've built it is we've actually integrated it into Toni's CRM. So all of your contacts that you have in a CRM, it doesn't only work with Toni's, but that's the one that it's built based off of. We can also integrate it into Salesforce, Podio, and a number of others. There's like 3 others that it works okay with, but it works the best with Toni's system, with effing simple, the CRM. And what you can do is turn it on and turn it off. And what I mean by that is you can give it objectives. And so you can say, hey, I haven't talked to these leads in the last 6 months. I want you to start a conversation with these leads. And you turn the bot on. And it goes out and says, hey, Jennifer, how are you? What's going on? Haven't talked to you in a while. And you just like have a conversation. And so you can set objectives to do whatever you want. And this works for any industry. So we have clones built for real estate. We have clones built for coaching, speakers, trainers, marketing agencies, and all kinds of other things that we've had done. We can also customize it. So if you have some very specific niche, let's say like commercial janitorial services, and you want to respond to incoming leads that you've done like Google ads or Facebook ads for, a lead will come in and they'll say, hi, I'm interested in getting my office cleaned. Okay, cool. What size is the office? So you can set different targets, right? So you want to find out the size of the office. You want to find out how often they want it cleaned. And then ultimately you want to have them book an appointment. Or you can have them do something else. So for example, like selling products, you can direct them to your website. You can actually have the bot direct them to the actual product that they're talking to the bot about. So say you want to sell they're asking about some specific hair care product, and not just like a shampoo or a conditioner, but this very specific conditioner that you sell. You can actually have them get the link. The bot will send the person the link directly for that. By the way, I forgot that I have a PowerPoint to show you guys. So let me go ahead and click that over real quick, and I'm going to run through it. It's super fast, I promise, just like everything else. Can you guys see this big red U in front of you? If you can, give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat or something like that. Okay, cool. Looks like we can see it. I see. Yes. Okay. Right. So what's the challenge, right? The challenge is we have all these time-consuming tasks, these massively time-consuming tasks where you're hiring like an appointment setter, or you're hiring someone to respond to these texts, these emails, or all of these social media messages that are either coming in or that you want to do outreach on, right? Because this works both directions. So we can automate the bot to respond to incoming, or like I said, to warm up an outbound list that you already have in your CRM. Of course, another problem is it's susceptible to human errors. So you can train a person as much as you'd like, but really they're not going to do it perfectly every single time. So I know Toni and I, we talk about, cooking sometimes, and we love cooking. She recently made a soup. I remember she posted a thing about that, where cooking is kind of like, it's not like baking, right? Baking is an exact science, whereas cooking, you just kind of throw things in there and hope for the best, and you taste and you try and all that. But when we're talking to clients, we don't have the luxury of testing and tasting and seeing if it works. Like, we need to have the baking process already done with our clients. We need to have it set and it's done and it's replicatable every single time. It's measured and it's scientific. And so that's what we can do here. We can replicate this 1,000 times a minute if we want to. The other issue that we have is labor shortage, which means labor costs are higher. And not only that, but just like finding skilled labor in general seems to be pretty difficult. And we run into that across the board, whether it's in our construction business, finding skilled labor for that, or if it's in our tax credit business, or even in the real estate business. I mean, finding skilled labor is very difficult. And when you do find it, it's not cheap. And so we run into these rising costs where obviously this product is a fixed cost, right? It's a monthly fee that you guys would pay, or anybody would pay for that matter. And what ends up happening is you can control your controllables. Whereas when you have a person in this sense doing all the texting and doing all the email and social media responses, you can't really control them. They call in sick and it's like, well, now I got 50 messages that came in that I got to respond to somehow. Anyway, you don't have that problem with this. So what can the Unify Sales Bot do for you? It can be used for any industry. I kind of went over some of these things here. Handles inbound, outbound, text, email, social media, and we can train it to fulfill any objective whatsoever. We can also program it to have a delay, so that way it seems like it's a real person, right? And we can set out of the ordinary delays, so it's not like a fixed, like 1 minute, then respond, 90 seconds and respond. It will actually respond at the speed that the person is responding on the other end, or you can set it to wait 30 seconds, a minute, 90 seconds, or if they haven't responded, if the customer on the other end hasn't responded, you can set it up to do a follow-up the next day. So you don't have to worry about following up with your clients. You can do a follow-up at day 1, day 5, day 7, day 14, and so on and so forth. So here's a quick example. It could be a little bit morbid, but I found it funny. So what we've done here is we've created a demo, and I'll give you guys all the demos so you can just play around with it. I really want you to try and break it, right? Because we're in like the final stages of our beta testing. We're ready to launch. We've had a bunch of people that are using it quietly, not publicly. And I don't think I told you guys this, but this is like the world debut right here today on Toni's show. So what we had done here, here's a little bit of example. So this clone is for real estate. So, hey, Alicia, sounds like you're interested in getting an offer on your place. Hope you don't mind me asking, what made you start thinking about selling? And so Alicia, she's funny, right? Alicia's my assistant. She's like, a lot of people died in the house. So a regular bot, I don't know how a regular bot would respond to that, but probably not like this. Oh, wow, that's heavy. I can understand you might want to move on from a place with such a history. How's the inside of the house holding up? First objective. How is the inside of the house holding up? So what we've done is we've set the bot to find out the interior condition or the condition of the property. Alicia's like, everything's good. That's good to hear. So when you imagine the perfect scenario, when do you see yourself handing over the keys? Objective number 2. How soon are they wanting to sell the house? Now? In a month? In a year? Oh, probably by next year. Is that okay? Absolutely. That's totally fine. We can work with your timeline. How about we chat on the phone for a quick 15 minutes to discuss how we can make this as smooth as possible for you? Would that work? Objective number 3. That's book a call. So any other bot that you've ever seen out there that's got those canned responses, it literally has one job. It's got one job and it fails every single time because people know it's a bot. We can do 30 objectives, which means this conversation could go on for 20 or 30 minutes. And that person on the other end is not going to know that it's a bot. And like I said, when you ask it, it's a bot. No, I'm Steven from the ibuyyourhouses.com. So a quick little story. I talked to one of our testers yesterday and he's like, I got my first booked appointment. And I was like, all right, tell me about it, man. That's awesome. And he's like, and he's a coach. So he's a real estate coach and that's what he's using it for. He does Instagram, he does Facebook, he does paid per click stuff like on Google. But this particular story happened through Instagram. So he did a post and he told people, hey, if you want to know more, DM me this word. I forgot what his trigger word was. It was like, it's brand, because he's trying to like help them, build whatever. And so the thing starts going back and forth, and then ultimately like it goes to the final objective, which is book a call. And so the person books a call, he gets on the call with them later in the day, and he just sold them a $5,000 coaching program. He was on the phone with somebody else while the bot was doing this work. He didn't have to deal with it one bit. And it received the message, it processed the message, it handled the objectives perfectly, booked the call, and he was able to get on the phone and close them out. So it was awesome. It was really, really cool to hear that. And that literally just happened yesterday. So there's been other stories like that too, but that's the most recent one in my mind. So anyway, so what can we do here, right? With the unified sales bot, automated task management, it enhances the data accuracy, right? I said, because we can control the controllables. It lowers the operational costs, of course. So saving you money. I mean, a decent appointment setter right now, even if you're paying them part-time, is $2,000 a month. I mean, $2,000 a month is massive to pay an appointment setter. And usually the results are, I don't want to say poor. Even if you have a really, really good appointment setter, like what we've had in the past, you might have a 25% call to action rate or 25% conversion rate to get them to book a call. So we can automate this into our CRM, right? Into Toni CRM, into other CRMs that we have as well. We can minimize the error with intelligent algorithms. So on the back end, we've got a lot of safety nets put in place. We've got a lot of backstops where the bot won't double respond to people. So a lot of times what we've seen in the past with other bots that we've tested before we were developing this is somebody will respond twice. They'll have like, and you all have these friends, right? They respond in like 7 different messages, like one after the other. And I'm like, put all your thoughts into one box and then send them all at once. But people don't do that, right? And that's fine. So what happens is a typical bot, they'll respond separately to each message that's coming in. And it's like, okay, you're clearly a bot. I get it. Ours doesn't do that. Ours compiles all the stuff, puts it into one thing, and then responds intelligently in order for people to not figure out that it's a bot. So we already talked about the cost. We got a higher ROI. It'll reduce the operational cost by at least 80% for having a full-time appointment setter, at least 80%. And then here's a cool little graph of numbers that probably aren't going to mean much right now, except for what I take away from this when we talk about money mindset and wealth is this tool saves you money. This tool increases your business. This tool will grow your business and grow your wealth faster than any other kind of response bot or marketing tool that I think any of us have used in a really, really long time. So with that, if anybody's got questions on how this thing works, or if you want to hear some more stories, or talk about surfing in Ventura, like I'm down, whatever you want to talk about. Chris, you said, I'm interested in testing. For sure. I'll get with Toni so that way everybody can get sent a link and on how to test it. And yeah, I want everybody to try and break it. Ask it some wild questions. Like I've had people ask me questions like, or ask the bot questions like, I want to sell my house because the house has rickets. And I'm like,
okay, how many people know what rickets really are? I mean, I know what it is, but rickets, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you guys, does anybody have any questions at all? Anyone? It was pretty straightforward. It was good. Hey,
cool.
And I'm impressed. That's the first time that you were doing that. I hear the excitement behind this and what you've been able to do. I think it's going to be really cool to see what happens in the future with this program that you've built.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Toni. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. So, hey, so where can they find you at? Where's the easiest way to connect?
Yeah, so on any of the socials, it's just Steven Sterick. That's it. Very super simple.
Steric.
Yeah.
I'll share it with you guys.
Perfect. Yeah, and then I'll
Sterick,
put a link.
yes.
I'll put a link together.
No,
on
Instagram.
Yeah, I'll put a link.
Okay,
together
so
send it to Toni so that way she can send you guys the tester and play around with it and really ask it some wild questions and see what it does.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you hopping on. And
Sure.
like last minute too.
Yeah, super.
This is going to rock for you, my friend.
I love it. I'm so, ADD is one of those things that most of us have, and I call it a value add for all of us. And typically when we're under the gun and we have deadlines, that's the time we work in our genius zone. So I really appreciate your time too, Toni. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I just so appreciate you taking the time to share with us. Absolutely. What's the word I'm looking for? It's learning new things, but that's where we're going. So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Steven. And I appreciate you being here today. Good to see you, buddy. All right. So you guys, I actually was going to have Anthony come on after Steven, but he needs a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and break for lunch now. So you guys are going to want to make sure that you get back here at what time is it? Okay. Well, you know what? We'll just go till 1 o'clock because Anthony is going to share marketing, all of the things, the incredible things that he's doing. He's got a couple of really awesome income opportunities as well that he is worked on that he's actually kind of co-created with a very specific industry. But he really is, his genius is marketing, and he's a high-end marketing consultant. Not only that, you guys, he's built and sold multiple businesses for 9 figures as well. He's one of the smartest people that I've ever met next to, and no joke, my husband knows so much random useless information, and I'm not saying Anthony's like that at all. He's just a brilliant guy. So you're going to want to hear from him. He's going to be on after lunch. And then we have Meissa Harris. She's going to talk about infinite banking and how to kick shitty debt to the curb. And then because debt, not all debt is bad. Don't get me wrong. Not all debt is bad, but also how to set up your own personal bank. And then of course we have Jamie. I'm really excited to hear about this because I'm actually taking a mastermind in just a few weeks about self-directed IRAs. So he's going to be sharing that with you, and also, what he does. And, his background also is in real estate. He does a little bit different, like flipping houses and stuff like that, but you're going to hear from him. So we have a jam-packed afternoon. Stay on with us. If you can't totally get it, we have the recording. I'm going to pause the recording for now. We're going to come back at 1 o'clock. So you guys just pause your Zoom. You don't have to leave, but if you need to leave the room or whatever, make sure you're on a few minutes earlier so I can add you back in. But I'm going to pause it for now, and I'm just going to mute and turn off my camera. And then we're going to see you guys here at the top of the hour.
Here we go, guys. It's time for some exciting stuff. Okay. I'm sure you guys can see this PowerPoint. Ignore all these like weird lines going through it. This is what happens when you have me make slides. So I took time to build this out. So this is going to be a little bit exciting. So we'll go ahead and present this, and then we will go into everything else. So everybody, my name is Anthony Abood, and I am the founder of Omnimatic, and I built out effing simple CRM. I do business consulting and automation specialists. So what I personally do is I come into a business, I take a look at what's working, what's not working, and then we build out a solution to the issues, right? And 95% of the time, our solutions come in the form of some kind of automation, whether that's a simple setting an alarm clock or putting colored lights in the kitchen so that they know, the kitchen staff knows when it's busy or it's not busy, or when it comes to something more complex like our network marketing stuff where we have thousands of automations built in based on reactions that clients take. So today, my slideshow is going to be very basic because I built it, and then we're going to show you something that an AI built. And you'll see a couple slides in here my team built, and you'll know exactly which ones those are, so I won't point them out. But we're going to go through here. I'm very interactive when we do these because I want you guys to start thinking about things. We're not really selling anything here. We can later if you guys really want to come talk to us. But what we're doing here is building you guys up that mindset, similar like the previous person did with his automations and his AI, right? The mindset of why this is important to you. And my whole premise today that we're talking about is time. So I'll go ahead and see if this is going to work. There we go. Time, right? Now everyone's going to say, Anthony, what are you talking about with time? So there's two main questions. Why is it important and what it means, right? So why is time important? Well, time's finite, right? We have a set amount of time in every day in our life. We don't really know what's going to happen, except we know that eventually you won't have any more time, right? And what it means. Each person is going to find time differently, and we refer to it in our day-to-day lives just completely without thinking about it, right? For example, this morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. because I'm over here in LA too, so hashtag all our West Coast people. Not many of us because it's really early, but I put 1 hour aside to work on my slideshow and 1 hour aside to have my breakfast, right? So I built this slideshow in 1 hour. So instinctively, I set my alarm clock, which is an automation, to wake me up at 5 a.m. so I can work on this PowerPoint, right? And this is why it's so amazing. It's a whole hour of work, right? So here we go. Next, we can go look at physicists, right? Like physicists need time to understand the laws of physics. Without time, the laws of physics don't work, right? Completely different concept. Next thing we're going to talk about is children. Children can't wait to grow up, right? That's what time means to them. Every time you talk to a kid, I can't wait till I'm 18. I can't wait till I'm 21. Can't wait to go to college, right? No one's like, oh, I'm going to be a kid forever. And then you go to young adults, right? They're never going to die. It's the best time of their lives. They're in college. They're partying it up. They're not thinking about the future, right? They're making those early decisions in life that we all regret eventually, unless you're a very lucky few people. And then you look at adults/parents. You go, where did the time go, right? Where did the years go? I woke up today and I go, oh my gosh, it's almost October. Last time I thought about it, it was March, right? It's been so many months. And I just go, I don't know where all this time went. It just flew out the window, right? So just put yourselves in that mindset when you're thinking about time. Every day you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, well, I have to go to the bank, so I need 30 minutes to drive there, right? So you plan that out in your day. Everything we do revolves around time, even if you're not thinking about it, right? So this is the big part that I love. What about business owners, right? So just a bunch of question marks, because each business owner, oh, too many. Let's go back one. Each business owner has a different concept of time. For example, for me, my time today was spent on making these slides. Could I have done them on Wednesday? I wish. Or Thursday or Friday? I really wanted to. Sadly, life got in the way, clients, issues. So here we are with these slides. And here's where we're at. So at this point, I want people to type into chat and everything 1 to 3 things that they didn't do last week that they wanted to do because of time. Most of you here are business owners. Most of you understand this concept, right? What did you push off because it wasn't the top priority for the day? Go ahead and chat and, type in a couple things that you guys missed out on or didn't do or weren't able to complete. And then Toni, you can give us somebody from your staff over there as well. I'm procrastinating a lot. Yeah, I do that too, Toni. But go ahead, people. Let's hear something you guys didn't do last week that you really wanted to do. Yeah, there you go. Decluttering or home from home improvement. That's one thing. I'll give people a couple more seconds. Creating a business bank account. That one should have been done. Paul, we'll have a talk later, my friend. There you go, Kareth. Those are some things. And those are things that we pushed off because in our brain or subconscious mind, like the first speaker said, they weren't the most important things we had to do for that day. And then the next day you have more important things and so on. But with business owners, that could be as simple as buying a new cash register. It could be as simple as setting up a sale for the next week. It could be anything, right? Reaching out to an old client. A lot of things that we do with our staff and our teams, it revolves around using automations, using AI to push forward your agenda of the things that you don't actually need to do every day, right? But when we do it from a sense of customer support and satisfaction instead of sales. So that's kind of where we're at with this stuff. So we're gonna go to the next slide and it's gonna start making a little bit more sense in a minute if I can find out where my clicker is. Right? So how do we solve this? How do we solve not having time in our day-to-day? We do it through automation and AI. And that's as simple as it gets. Really, we already have a lot of automations in our lives, right, guys? You guys have cell phones, you have reminders, you do simple things. So you just have to extrapolate that into the next step, which is how do I use automations paired with simple AI, or how do I just use simple automations? Now, when you're talking about this with your time, it's you can automate anything that you can put guardrails around, right? Same thing with AI. AI is very big, right? Anyone can go to ChatGPT, anyone can go use OpenAI, but when you send them something, they're going to send you back what the masses said, not what you want it to say. So you need to put guardrails around it. That's why you have to prompt correctly. So a lot of the stuff that goes into AI is mostly building those prompts, building those databases. Now, when you merge the two together, you actually get some very unique situations. And we're actually going to have an example of this in a little bit, where you guys get to test out a very high-level AI I built out in about, I want to say, 20 minutes. And it's going to go through email and text message. And you guys get to play around with it and just kind of feel how it is to interact with an AI in a business. And you have to start thinking about how do you put this into play for yourselves? Because this is money mindset. How do you generate wealth? You generate wealth by doing, not by watching or wishing or sitting, by doing. So if you get something to do it for you, to a small extent, right? Our statistics are always automate 70%, do 30% yourself, or have your team do 30%. Because 70% of the things we do every day, right, can be automated. And they should be at some point. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. And this is one of my favorite quotes. Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. Whether that's a sale, whether that's meeting somebody, whether that's starting a new company, they're always happening. And Richard Branson, just so you guys know, so I don't get sued, he said this, right? It's great. It's interactive. It makes sense. There's always the next thing. So when you're running a business, right? If you're a restaurant, you're going to sit at a table. Guess what? There's going to be another table that comes in through the door and sits. So on and so forth. How do you create this? You create this through marketing. You create this through automation, through good reviews. So all of this builds upon the base, which we're talking about, which is our automations. So how do we use automations and AI, right? I put a quick list together, and this is our list from our company here, which, you know, effing simple and all the people we work with, it's repetitive tasks that you have to do daily, nothing that's unique, right? Customer service. So customer service could be reviews. It could be answering the phone. It could be as simple as giving back the customer's results from a doctor's visit, right? Customer care. Customer care would be, hey, I have an issue with my order, which we're going to have an example of this a little bit later. Customized interactions. So this is where AI comes into play. If you have a database, if you're online, if you're using marketing, you actually collect that data, and an AI can read that data and give a unique response to every individual. So that way, it's not set up in a way where you look as automated as it really is, right? And then customized marketing, same deal. The AI can decide where they send it. Programmatic marketing is when you go to the Mercedes website or any food website, and that ad keeps following you around everywhere you go, right? It's on Facebook, it's everywhere. It's because that is programmatic marketing. You're buying ad space based on what the people want. And then, of course, our favorite, side hustles. And this is where I come into play. So we do our work with our large corporations so that we can help and work in the side hustles. Right now, my side hustles are three main things. We do insurance, specifically pre-need insurance. This is working with funeral homes, serving underserved markets. We're helping people plan their futures and be respectful of their money and their mindsets. The next thing that we do is we work with a company called Lumapure. They actually have a really cool invention. It's a white light disinfectant. It's the same thing as those purple lights in hospitals, but you can put it in your house, you can put it in your work offices, and it actually increases your mood because it kills the germs and bacteria that are on surfaces and desks. The last thing that we do, and this is one of the more recent, is we work with Mercy Hospital in Chicago. Does anybody know Mercy Hospital in Chicago? You guys are all from that side or close to that side. It is one of the only surviving places after the great 1871 Chicago fire. And in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, it was going to declare bankruptcy. And what happened was it was bought for $1. $1. And it went through a whole legal dispute and a bunch of stuff because it was losing millions of dollars a month. I think it was like somewhere around 5 million. There's a cool article on about it. I think I might have it here. Let me see if I can grab it for you guys. I'll drop it in the chat so you guys can read it. And it was done by Bloomberg. So here you go, everybody, just in case you want to see this. And I'm going to admit some more people. I should move this to a screen I'm actually looking at. Sorry about that, guys. So Mercy Hospital sold for $1, and now they're revigorating it. They have 4 locations that are similar to it. And what their mission is to serve the communities that are underserved and overpaying for pharmaceuticals that are needed, that are life-threatening, by selling it to the pharmacy in direct door deliveries. So what they do is if you pay more than $20 a prescription, then they can give it to you for less. And they do this as a service to the community, and that was part of their agreement when they bought the hospital for $1. They're running their pharmacy as a nonprofit. So it's very cool. It's very interesting. So those are my 3 side hustles. All 3 of them are commission-based. I don't believe in non-commission-based side hustles because then it's just another job. And most of the time, if you're not using automations and AI in your side hustle, you're making less than what you would do if you added 2 hours to your 9 to 5. And it's up for dispute and debate and all that stuff. But really, side hustles work to get you some passive income. But if your side hustle is going to be your main hustle, then you really got to focus on it. So that's some food for thought. Next thing we're going to do is take a really quick break. I'm going to give you guys a QR code. I want you guys to go ahead and scan this. Commission-based side hustles would be, for example, selling insurance because you get paid on commission when you sell a deal. Working in network marketing, when you sell something, you generally get paid for it. So commission-based side hustles would be anything that you're selling a physical product that has a need in the community that is not diluted, right? So that's my thought on the subject. And we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide here. So I have this up here, guys. This is a very simple automation. And what's going to happen is you guys pull out your phones right now. Let's go ahead and scan this. Tony, is this big enough for you guys to scan at your on your TV?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So when you guys scan that, you're going to pull up a form. Go ahead and fill that out. And our CRM is going to shoot you guys an email, right? And this is an example of how we automate our insurance side of the company a little bit. So I built this real fast. It's very high level. It's using very simple automations and OpenAI. So it's not as complex as the previous person who went and gave this, but this is an example of what small businesses can do on a rapid speed to go ahead and customize some issues. So what's going to happen is you guys are going to fill out that form in less than 20 seconds. You guys are going to get an email, and then you can respond to that email with a positive intent or a negative intent. You can say, yes, I want to, or no, unsubscribe me. And depending on what you do, it's either going to send you more messages and send you through a booking calendar and send you a text message. And you guys can play back and forth. If you say no, it's going to apologize and remove you from the mail list. So hopefully everyone here is going to go ahead and fill that out real quick. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds. And once that's done, you'll get those emails. You guys can play around with it while we talk. It's really fun. It's really cool. If you do it twice, you'll get 2 separate messages. So you guys can go ahead and do that. And in about 15 seconds, I'm gonna continue. Cool. So yeah, go ahead and feel free to respond to it. I have no idea what it sent to you because it's all customized, but have fun with it. Okay. So now we're going to move into using automations and AI to bridge the gap in company size and power. So today, light AI, such as OpenAI, allows for some clients customization for small businesses, right? Automations let us save time through set expectations. So those are the differences. AI will let you customize. Automations generally just set up very strict guidelines and rules. Together, it's a game changer. If you merge them together, that's the example that we just did here, where the AI will send you a response based on your intent, and it'll customize the message. Then our automation will take over and book your calendar for you. So if you guys said yes, you'll get a text message and you get a book with us here. Don't worry, it's not a real booking. It's just not going to go anywhere, but at least you get a book and see how that goes, right? Now we're going to look in the future. In 1 year, small businesses that don't use AI in their automation in their daily business will begin to struggle, especially in the digital space. So why is this important? I know this is a little contradictory because, you know, a lot of us here don't like to be tracked by the government, don't like to do things like that. But as business goes, the more exposure you have, the greater your client base is, right? So it's a yin and yang. You have to decide, do I want to take that step forward or do I not? Now, AI is developing so fast, it's pretty crazy. It's just very insane. In 2 years from now, general voice customer service AI will be available for mom and pop sized businesses, which means that everybody in the industry, including network marketers, including just startups, can have a voice AI that will actually be able to help them with customer service, help them deliver expectations that the larger corporations are doing, which helps them grow, right? So it's bridging the power and labor gap for all companies, not just the top 1%. The biggest issue with small businesses, anyone here that runs their own business, and if Joe was still here, he would say labor, finding labor, right? Like he said, he had 50 people on his team, now he has 10, right? So he reduced his scale because it's a different type of business. But I'm sure that if AI was around back then, he could have made a lot of those business deals, the paperwork, all that stuff, a lot more concise and compact and be able to do it with less people. In 3 years from now, our daily lives will be incorporating AI through our cell phones. It's going to automatically suggest emails and text messages. It's going to read us things. Anything attached to the internet will have AI. So you have to get comfortable with it now, because in the future, we don't know what's going to come. But we do know it's coming, and you can't stop it anymore. So as a small business consultant, you need to get on the bandwagon or just get off. So now I'm going to shift a little bit and talk about engaging with virtual agents, which is our voice AI. So I have a couple more slides and then I'll go ahead and go to Q&As. So engaging your calls of virtual agents. So this was not made by me, of course, because you guys can see how nice this slide is. So this is just deflection and containment and what happens when you engage your customers. So deflection is you stopping the seepage from your company. Containment is you eliminating the issues for those seepages, right? And in the middle, you have your virtual agents. So this is a little different than sales bots. We're talking about customer service AIs. And this is what we excel in, customer service AI, right? So I'm going to jump to the next slide because there's a lot of stuff in here, but I just want to get you guys a general understanding. Voice automations are hard, but we make it simple, right? It's all about intent, right? It's my birthday and I need a table and party. The AI understands they want to book, right? The natural language understands is, can I book my table for my parents and 2 kids? So the AI is going to assume it's one person, has 2 parents and 2 kids. So it's going to book for 5 people, right? Maybe we would have booked for 6 people if we thought it was a husband, but he said my parents, right? And then actual, can we make that hate people, right? So we all know context is key. And when you talk, it's going to sound different depending on what part of the world you're from, right? So hate people equals 8 people because context is key, right? So this is just an example of why we're going voice and why we are trying to lead the community in this area. Our next key is going to be dealing with accents, backgrounds, noise, and numerous alphabetical inputs make it hard. So virtual platforms are designed for voice-related challenges such as accents and numbers. They work like this. This is how ours are developed, right? We check what kind of accent is it? Do we need to speak a different language, right? And is this a number? Then we go down into these models. These are just a lot of different things you guys don't have to worry about, but there's multiple steps that go into every action. So everyone here that's talking to this chatbot, this is a very low-level chatbot that you're using in the demo. We're going to go into the next slide here, and then we're going to give you guys an example of a real-life client of ours that's working. Right? So here's the difference. Our AI, Axia, right? It's in a convert RT, right? This is built off of casual human conversations. This is the difference between customer service applications and sales applications. BERT and GPT, they're built for sales and information. They scrape everything on the web. They're just there for everyone, right? Convert is more set for natural human turnkey conversations. And you'll hear this in our demo that's coming up in a second, then we'll take questions and answers. So if anyone has any questions on this, save it for the end. This is what is possible when you have access to data, what the future will be for all small businesses when they digitize and when this becomes available for everybody. So this is a recorded call for a clothing store, and you guys will hear the name of it. It's a baby clothing store, and a chat AI. And you can see here that we want the AI to be understood that it is a robot. We don't want them to think it's real, because we found that if they think it's real and they're talking to customer service, right, then they get upset if they figure out it's not. But if we just say, hey, we're not real, and we make it just a little fake compared to a real person, then we actually get really good results on it. So we'll show you here how the AI convinces the person to give them the information and solves the problem without having to involve anybody in the store. So here we go.
Thank you for calling Carter's in Oshkosh B'gosh. My name is Maria. How may I help you?
Are you a real person?
I'm a virtual assistant. I can help you track and cancel orders and answer all kinds of questions about shopping with Carter's brands. What can I do for you today?
Could I please talk to a customer service representative?
Could you tell me a bit more about why you're calling so I can know where to route you?
I'm trying to track an order and I don't have a tracking number.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you check the status of an order. I see an order here associated with the number you're calling from, but I just need to check that it's the right one. Do you have the last 4 digits of your order number on you?
No.
Not a problem. I can also check by the order date. What date did you place the order?
June 25th, 2023.
Great, I've got the right order here. Looks like that order is currently in transit. Do you want me to send you a text message with that information and a link to our online order tracker?
Yes.
Okay, just a second. Does the number you're calling from work to receive a text?
Yes.
And that's sent. You should receive the message any minute. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
No, thank you.
Thanks again for calling Carter's in Oshkosh B'gosh. Have a great rest of your day.
Oh, there we go. So that was an example of what larger companies are able to do when they invest the correct money in their infrastructure and into AI, and to be able to use voice AI in that sense. So in 2 or 3 years, that's going to come to everybody. It's going to come to small businesses. It's going to come to network marketers. So if you don't think about it now, then think about it soon. Because it's not about if, but when. So spending some time to think about what it is you need to complete and get comfortable with the idea that in the very near future, you'll need to work with AI and automations, or you're going to be left behind. So that was my money mindset. I wanted to just give that to everybody. I have a thank you page here. So in general marketing form, if you guys scan that left one, we're going to give you a digital business audit. To complete that, you do have to have a website. So we need at least a website and fill out all the information on there. And we're going to send you a free digital audit on your online presence, on your business. And then on the right, if you scan that, right, and this, you have to have a business for this one. We're going to go ahead and set you up with a compression plan. Now, Toni here, she's done a compression plan with me. We used to do them I used to do these daily, and we used to charge $30,000 to $60,000 for compression plans. So we're going to give one away to somebody in this group. And what's going to happen is you're going to come to us. It's going to be a 2-hour meeting, and we're going to sit down. We're going to plan out an area of your business that you really want to fix or that you really want to do. And we're going to go ahead and build out the assets for it. We're going to build out the flow for it, and we're going to go ahead and deliver that to you guys. Now, if you're going to do the compression plan, just know that depending on what you want to fix, you might have to do some investment yourself. It's marketing dollars and things like that. But we're here to help you guys build your companies and build wealth for the future because we believe in this mission. And my name's Anthony. That's all I got for you guys today. So I guess we can take some questions now. I know I talked a lot. I went a little over time, but here we are. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing screen. Did everyone scan these QR codes? Tony, should I leave them up for a minute longer?
Yeah, leave them up for just a second longer. And then also too, so Lisa just asked, which AI app is the best for us to use as network marketers? This is a really great question, Anthony.
So that one is hard, right? Like the AI app doesn't really matter. It's not really the app that you use. It's the prompts that you're giving the AI to respond to. So for example, in the CRM, we have a very generic thing that we can set up with OpenAI. It costs money every time you use it, but we can help you set up prompts to send messages to OpenAI and come back. The issue with that is, like we were talking about earlier, in that gap between big companies and small companies, there's no guardrails to it. So if you send something to OpenAI and you're prompting it, it could answer great or it could answer terrible. Like, I don't know, honestly, what emails and text messages you all got from doing that little demo, because OpenAI decides it's going to customize every single one of them. Some of them are going to be great. Some might not hit the mark. So if you guys played with that, you'll see what's going on. Do you do any coaching on starting on commission-based side hustles? I do not do coaching because I don't have the time for it. I know Toni does, but we do have those side hustles for you guys if you want to take part in one of our 3 categories, which is helping people with their pharmaceuticals if they're overpaying, doing pre-niche sales, which is an insurance sale, and then doing the white light or the health market part of it. So we can talk about that offline. If you guys sent me a message, I'll be sending everyone an email, or Toni will share my contact information, or just email me at anthony@omnimatic.com. Someday I might get into coaching, but not today. But yeah, back to the Lisa Stubbs with the AI apps. You just need to use ChatGPT and AI, unless you can go with a custom solution like the gentleman before me, Steven? Was it Stefan or Steven? Steven. He has a sales built AI, right? That's fantastic. I don't play in the sales built line. We build in the customer service reactivation line. Like, you have to have an active client base for our AI to work, or people have to be calling into you and needing something, right? We don't do sales side. So depending on what you want, we can talk offline, Lisa, and we can guide you towards the right thing. But the CRM has it built in with OpenAI, so it's pretty simple stuff. But yeah, there is nothing really set for network marketers because most of your information is offline. ChatGPT can't pull information from network marketing companies most times because it's private.
So but Lisa, through our system, because we do have that capability and we already have the nurture campaigns built for that already. So it's just basically you plug and you're done. So, and not only that, a market mentor helped us write all of it. And she's our, Anthony's full-time employee that helps out with that specific aspect of it. That's the first thing. The other thing I do want to clarify is that the insurance, the pre-need insurance, that has phenomenal training. I've actually sat and gone through their training program, and it's very, very specific. Justin, the guy who does it, he's phenomenal. So, and he's been in the industry for a long time. So there are tools out there available for you, and you can find anybody in any space that is, whether it's real estate, whether it's insurance, whether it's network marketing, whether it's car sales, whether it's medical sales. There's always going to be someone out there when you Google it that you're going to find somebody that's been very successful in that arena, and they're teaching you all of that, a lot of it for free. So yeah, there are so many free resources out there. It's not even funny, you guys. You got people like John Maxwell and Todd Duncan, and I'm going to talk about them because they are the best in their space, right? And John has all of this stuff on his podcast, you know, for free. Todd Duncan has a podcast for free. You're in real estate, you better be following him. So, you know, he's built all of his massive amounts of wealth around real estate investments. But look for the best of the best, follow them, and follow what they do. I also think, sorry, Anthony, I just had to interject here. I also definitely think you need to be going to masterminds where your specific like need or want that you're learning to do, and you need to go invest into those particular events. They're not cheap, but I'm telling you, I met, you know, 3 of the people that spoke on this call today, I met through masterminds. So, you know, they're well worth the investment. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. Anthony, do you have any other closing words?
No, we can just go ahead and pick a winner if everyone's done applying for the for the compression plan. Okay, and let me just randomize it. And Harris Jones, she here. I mean, she has to be here. I don't know if they're in person or on digital, but congratulations. Toni will share my contact information with you. We'll reach out and get you scheduled in for a compression plan.
Okay. All right, cool. Anthony, thanks so much for your time. Kelly, I know you popped in on here. Appreciate you guys so much. Any other questions, guys?
Hand it off.
Okay. All right, Anthony, thanks so much. I so appreciate you.
Of course. Go ahead and figure out where these people are now that I'm done sharing.
You make me host?
Yep, you are host.
Okay. All right. So you guys, all right, next on to our next speaker. I'm super excited. And you guys, if you have debt, she's going to be your lady that you need to talk to. So she's here with us live. She lives here locally in the Charleston area, and we've been partnering and doing talks and you know, really helping each other out with each other's business for the past 2 years now. Yeah, it's been 2 years. So anyways, without further ado, I want to introduce Melissa Harris. I don't want to steal away from her story, but the reason why she is doing the infinite banking platform and the $1 Million Baby is because there's a very personal story of you know, how she came about doing this. And I can't wait for you to hear from her, but she's going to help you, you know, put some of that money where you can protect it. All right. So without further ado, Melissa. Be clapping there
with you guys today. First, if you can hear me okay in the Zoom, drop a fire in there, because I know what you've heard so far is exciting you guys, getting you rocking and rolling. It's about what our company does. And first, I'm going to share a presentation. Is that on here, or does Naomi have that?
No,
it's on here.
Your slideshow.
Yep, it's on here. Or it should be.
Oh, give me a second with that.
Okay. It's all right. We're going to talk. It doesn't matter. I don't even need a slideshow. All right. So the wealth shift. Let me just go into this. Most people think about the wealth shift as in terms of the wealth transfer, right? So does anybody know what the wealth transfer is? Drop a 1 in the chat if you do. Anybody in the room, just shout it out. We're going to have fun this afternoon. There's a reason why Toni put me after lunch. All right, because we're going to get fired back up. We got 2 more. We got me and we got 1 more speaker, and then Toni's going to close us out and we're going to get fired up. All right, Anthony said 1. He knows what the wealth transfer is. That means that over the next 7 to 8 years, you're going to see the biggest transfer of money, because the most baby boomers are retiring, right? And they're retiring at a rate of 10,000 plus per day. All right. So that's the wealth transfer that we kind of all have heard about in the industry. What I'm talking about today is a wealth shift. Now, I love it that Toni shared a little bit of the faith piece of where she's going with the wealth rescue and how her faith plays a big part in that. It does for me as well. And what I'm talking about with the wealth shift is getting money out of the hands of people that are doing bad in the world, right? And getting it into the hands of people who are doing good. People are going to, help their church communities, help the homeless, be able to create generational wealth for their own families. So it's super, super important. The only way we can defund that is if we teach good people what to do with their money. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. First, you guys have a worksheet. If you're in person, you've got it online. Download it. If you don't have it, it's okay. Grab a piece of paper. We just fly by the seat of our pants this afternoon.
It's on the Google link that was included in everybody's email.
All right, you got it. So if you didn't download it, it's all right. You can write it on paper and do that later. Let me backtrack and tell you a little bit about my story. Toni mentioned just briefly that, you know, I didn't grow up loving numbers. I still don't love numbers. I deal with numbers every day, but the great thing is that I have software that can do all of that for me, right? So what I love about this industry is that I came into the industry from a more of a servant heart and more of a place where I know, based on my own experiences, that people don't get the education they need for keeping their financial house in order, getting it in order, keeping it there, going down the right direction to build, you know, financial stability and financial freedom that most people are looking for. And how I know this is at age 40, my mom had an accident that left her partially paralyzed. I was 21 at the time. I was newly married, pregnant with my first child. And from that moment forward, my husband and I moved her in our home. We took care of her for 26 years. And through this process, I learned in the last few years of my mom's life that she had a financial advisor. She had an insurance agent. She had an attorney. And in 26 years, not one of those people reached out to me to say, hey, what is it that we can help you do to protect your assets, protect her, what she's got, you know, as far as her income? What do you need to be doing with that? What do you need to be doing about setting up a trust to make sure that some of these things are in place once you get to the point to where she needs 24/7 care, right? So unfortunately, I learned that on my own in the last few years of her life. And I had been teaching these same concepts. This is what blew my mind. I'd been teaching these same concepts in corporate America for 25 years. When Toni mentioned earlier about not shopping at Walmart or shopping at, you know, Target or some of those other big box companies, because that's what's, you know, feeding the corporate side of it. She was speaking truth. I spent 25 years there as a store manager and a chief financial officer, as well as an operations specialist for Walmart for 22 years. And then with Kohl's for the last 5 or 6 years of my retail career. But I didn't have any of these things in order in my own home. Like, I almost filed for bankruptcy. I battled cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. The financial strains of taking care of a parent as well as raising 3 children really put me in a position of financial devastation. It caused a lot of marital problems. I was separated for 4 years. I promise we're not going to stay in this depressed state right now, right? We're going to come back up here in a minute. We're not going down that path, but you got to know this, because so many people go from, you know, I'm 20 and I'm in college and I'm starting my life, to I don't have to worry about any of these things till I'm 65, 70, 80 years old. And that is just not true. There's going to be opportunities where life's going to throw curveballs at you, and you really have to be the best prepared that you can for those, so that it doesn't create the financial devastation along with mental, emotional, physical, all of the other things that come with things that you're going to go through in life. So we are going to dive in just a little bit. Again, you've got your worksheet. I want you on that top part to really just kind of put down, how does money make you feel, right? Write down a couple of money wins that you've had in your life. Write down a couple. I hear the people here are like, it makes me feel, let's get off the subject, right? We're talking money all afternoon. What are some challenges? Write those down. That's just for your personal viewing. If you want to share them in the chat on Zoom, please do, because somebody else in chat is feeling the same way that you are, right? And we're here to help you guys through that. And we're here to give you some resources. And Angela says stressed, right? Most people don't sleep. Like I said, it causes a lot of marital issues. A lot of people can't come back from that, thankfully. My husband and I were able to come back together, because this is the thing. Pam was talking about mindset earlier. I'm sorry, I've got my notes to keep me on track, but I got to get off track for just a minute. Yeah, that was bad. You put me here for a reason, right? All right. Pam was talking about the mindset earlier. And, you know, when I was in all of that turmoil, I decided that separating from my husband and living in a separate household where I had double the expenses was a more brilliant idea than just staying put and trying to hash things out, right? Communication is key. And it's because money is so scary to people. Like I was so terrified of sitting and having this conversation with him that it almost created a divorce in my life versus just sitting down and creating a family atmosphere where we could sit down and talk about it and kind of hash it out. So then I went from a small problem into even bigger problem. Because now we have 2 households to maintain. Now we have 2 sets of bills, water, electric, all the different things. You talk about going into debt, those 4 years were hard, big time hard. So my point in that is that I have been in the trenches and I have dug myself out of that. And now I want to share some tips and tricks to help you guys do that too. All right. So there are 6 steps to financial independence. You guys can't see those right now because I did not have my slideshow up. You get to look at me. But how many of you have figured out, I know Toni has, because she shared it, and she works with a lot of network marketers who is a huge, that's a huge group of people that I work with as well, and entrepreneurs. We figure out how to make money, right? Because we have the money mindset that we can go out and we want to work for ourselves. We don't want to work for a boss. And, you know, boss spelled backwards is SSOB. That's just double SOB, just to tell you that. So we want to work for ourselves. We figure out how to make money, but we never figure out what to do with it from there, which is why some of you are probably here today. The reason I know this is because I can have a single mom over here raising 2 kids who makes $50,000 a year net, who's struggling to figure out how she's going to put her kids through school and how she's going to pay her bills, and she's living paycheck to paycheck. I also have a client over here who makes $1 million a year net, who's struggling with the exact same thing because they never figure out what exactly they need to do with their money or the disciplines that they need to put in place to be able to correct the bad spending behaviors and all the bad habits that put them in that position in the first place. So a lot of times people get more money. I don't know if any of you on here, you know, have a 9-to-5 job where you get a raise, you go out, you spend a little bit more, and the next thing you know, and you're in the same position. You're like, well, I make $15,000 more than I did 2 years ago, but I'm still in the same cycle, this hamster wheel that just continues in my life. And we want to make sure that we're walking clients through that. So cash flow is number 1. And I know that I think it was Joe that mentioned earlier, they do a PFS. Well, we do a FNA. So an FNA is a financial needs analysis. And I think his was a personal financial statement, right? And he said, you need to sit down with somebody and do that. It's the same thing. And we go through 6 categories to make sure that we work with each client, whether they're family, just a family coming to us, or whether they're a business owner. We do both. Cash flow is the first one on the list. Do we need to make more money? Do we need to increase revenue? Or do we actually just need to get a good spending plan in place and create some good habits around the spending plan? Now, I don't like budget because budget is like the word diet to me. If you tell me you're putting me on a budget next Monday, I guaranteed I'm going to go out and spend every dime that I can between now and Monday. Same thing as a diet. You tell me I start a diet on Monday, I'm going to eat and drink everything that I possibly can this weekend, right? So we go with a spending plan. All we're doing is the mindset, Pam, is so strong because all we're doing is turning one little thing into a positive. I just want to tell my money where it's going each month. I don't want to restrict it. I'm just going to tell it where it's going to be spent. And you need to do this almost to the, $100. Not to, $1 would be pushing it a little bit, but on to $100, you need to know exactly where it's going. And that can include $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 in spending on, you know, with local businesses or whatever you want it to look like. But you need to have a plan for that. The next thing is debt management. Okay, debt management is key. And I know Toni mentioned that a little bit before. We will sit down and go through a very detailed debt management plan with you. So, you know, most people, I can ask, how much do you make gross per year? Most people can't tell me. Can anybody in the room, just raise your hands. Can anybody on Zoom too, put in the chat, just drop a 1 in there. If you could tell me right now how much you make gross per year. All right. What about net? What about net? Can you tell me net? All right, good. See, we got good students in here today. Most people don't know those numbers. So if you don't know what's coming in, it's really, really difficult to know what's going out. And they definitely don't know what's going out. Because when I go through a debt management plan, I ask questions like, you know, how much is this? How much do you think you spend a month on fuel? How much do you think you spend a month in groceries? What about eating out? That's a painful one. I always get way more than I should, but they don't have an amount. If you don't tell your money where to go, it's going to run from you. It's going to disappear. You're going to have more month than money, right? Every end of the month, I hear, I've still got 2 weeks before I can do this next thing because I got to wait till that next paycheck comes in, or I got to wait till that next commission comes in. Yeah, it's bad. So we want to make sure we're laying all of that out. And I want to back up just a second because I feel like this is part of my journey, is also helping people realize if you're out there working for yourself every day and you're asking, you know, for me, I ask God, right? I pray. I'm like, God, I'm ready for this next step. I'm ready to move into this next level. Reward me for doing all these things. I'm out here helping people. Where's my reward for that? And what we need to be thinking about is, are you ready for the next reward? Are you being a good steward of what he's already given you and what you're doing right now? Because if you're not managing $5,000 a month, but you're asking God to give you $50,000 a month, he's like, child, you're not ready for that yet. You're just going to do all these things over here that you don't need to be doing. And I'm preparing you for that. So you got to be a good steward now of what you got and what you're bringing in so that you then can be rewarded for that next level. The next thing is emergency fund. So I won't go into a lot of detail on that. You guys know what that is, but I love what Toni said earlier about taking that $5 a day. Typically what I walk through with people is, you know, if you buy lunch 5 times a week out while you're out working in business, and you just simply make the decision 2 days a week to cut out the lunch, I want you to immediately take that money and move it over into this bucket. This reward bucket. It could be an all expense paid trip for your family. It could be, you know, getting your hair done. It can be saving up for a new car or a new home or whatever that is for you. But you need to move that money to that bucket, because once you look at that bucket and you see this reward over here building for what you've decided over here you're going to cut back on, it really inspires people to do more. They're like, well, I think I can take lunch 3 days a week, and now 2 days a week I'll eat out. I want to see how fast my bucket grows, right? So it's a great way to see some fast rewards there. Angela says weekly. Not sure what you're asking, but yeah, if you eat out, 5 days a week for lunch, maybe just cutting 2 of those out and then immediately moving that money over. It could also be, you know, if I've run into this with a couple of clients. If you're a guy and you like to buy cigars, or you like to stop and have a drink after work, you know, with other couples or whatever it might be, if you just forego that 1 time a week or 3 times a month, move that money immediately over that you would have spent on that activity, so you can start building this and seeing this growing over here for you in a positive way. All right. Don't just spend it on Amazon at 9 o'clock at night. Toni's hitting her head over here. Don't spend it at Amazon at all. Spend it with local businesses. All right. Moving on, protection, not just life insurance, but also asset protection and income protection, right? And life insurance isn't like it used to be. It's not just death insurance, okay? It's not just, I get life insurance, I die, this person gets a big chunk of money to be able to, you know, handle the family household in whatever way they see fit. Life insurance now also has living benefits. So if there's a critical care, a chronic illness, a terminal illness, you can actually use portions of your life insurance to help you while you're still living through those tough times. So there's lots of living benefits to life insurance now. The next one is wealth building. So this is number 5. Category number 5 is wealth building. This is where everybody wants to go first. They want to skip the bad stuff, right? But we got to get through the other 4 so that we can create a good, solid plan to be able to get to the wealth building. We got to know how much we're playing with, right? So I know people are on here today talking to you about being able to set up, you know, for us, I'm going to talk to you about wealth accounts and some different things like that. Storage investing, you know, or automations for your business. You got to know how much those things are going to cost you and what monies you've got to play with to be able to invest in those things. So we help with that. Legacy planning and generational wealth. You know, providing for your children's children, right? That's not just financially. I'm not saying it's all about money. It's also about, you know, what your beliefs are, what your values are, things like that for your family are super important. If you don't pass those on to your generations, the world is going to tell them what they need to be valuing, right? So it's important that we're passing those things on as well. But there is also a financial component to that. So we talk about that when we add that in our plan. So I don't have the PowerPoint up, but I will send out a QR code for you guys. You can get a free Money Leaks booklet, and you can also get a free financial needs analysis. A lot of financial industry, you know, a lot of people in the industry will charge thousands of dollars for what I'm going to give you guys for being on today for free. So you will get that QR code before the end of the day. All right. So next, I want to talk real quick about how money works, how money grows. How much time do I have? I meant to set a timer.
Don't worry.
Okay. All right. We're going. We're just going. How money works, how it grows, and how it's taxed, right? All right. So it grows 3 ways. It's fixed, it's variable, and it's indexed. All right. If it's fixed, if you could see this on the screen, it's flatlining. It's a flat line. It's literally dying. If your money's sitting in the bank, which gives, if your money's sitting in the bank and it's more than your emergency fund, which if you don't know what that amount is, we're going to give you that through your financial needs analysis. Then you're dying. Your money's dying there. It's doing nothing. You're not outpacing inflation. Most banks, unless you specifically ask for like a money market type of account, and a lot of credit unions will offer it, but the big banks don't want you to know that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, unless you specifically ask for it, it's probably getting like less than 0.25% in a savings account or checking account. Money markets, you might get around 4 to 5%. Okay. So you need to be looking at that piece of it. Variable is going to go like this on the diagram. If you're looking at it, it's the market. Mm-hmm. You guys heard, set it and forget it. Ride the wave. How many have heard ride the wave? All right. I'm going to go down my rabbit hole here for just a minute. I know some people that are still riding the wave from 2008. They still don't have their money back. Some were lucky. They invested in some things, maybe a little more savvy with it, maybe, you know, are able to move some things around themselves. I'm not anti putting your money in the market, but I am anti having all your money in the market. It's insane. You got to protect yourself and what you're trying to grow. So that's the variable. And then indexed. And I always like to ask this question because I didn't know about indexing until I got into the industry a little over 5 years ago personally. But indexing is where you can get the gains of the market, but you're protected from market loss. Does everybody in the room and anybody on Zoom, did you know that was even possible? To get market gains and not suffer any market loss, be protected from market loss. And you guys can just drop in the chat.
Anybody in here? Okay.
Well, half of my team that works with me is in here too. So they better know this. No, this is so important because there's been strategies around for as long as the 401k has been around that teach people this, but they're not pushing that. There's a reason for that. They're not pushing that. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. All right. And then how money is taxed. Your money is taxed, either tax now, tax deferred, or tax advantaged, right? Or in some cases, it can be tax free.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. No, come on in here, girl. We're talking about taxes. That's important. All right. So tax now is going to be things like your savings account. You're going to get taxed on your paychecks right in the beginning, and you're also going to get taxed on any interest you get in the bank. So you're getting taxed beginning and end. Okay. Tax later or tax deferred is going to be anything you're getting taxed on down the road. So let me ask you, if you put $10 in a tax deferred account today and you pay you get a 10-cent benefit for putting it in today. 20 years down the road, you go to pull that money out and you have to pay $2 on it when you don't have any, you're probably in poorer health. You don't have as many deductions. You don't have any children in the house. What sense does that make to save this 10 cents on it now to then pay $2 on it later? But yet that's all we're being taught. Now, there's a couple other, I'm gonna move on. Tax deferred is where you can actually get, this is going to be kind of like, or tax advantage is going to be more where you have like your Roth IRAs, any kind of LERP, which I'll go through in just a minute, or cash value life insurance. I think Joe mentioned earlier, he's, worked with some people who use insurance strategies to be able to do various things with, and I'm going to go into that here in just a second. I like to think of tax deferred as another way to think about this before I move on, because this is so important. This is the piece that most people just never clicks. Think about going into business. We're going into business together today. All right. And I say, I'm going to put in $10,000 every month and you're going to match my 10,000, right? Because that's what companies do. They match your money, right? Even though most people will tell me like they match up to 6%, but it's really only like 3 for 50 cents up to 3%. And then the other 3%, it's like 100%. It's there's a lot of numbers in there. You got to pay attention. But they're going to match me my 10,000 every month. But I'm like, well, what are the parameters of our contract? How much am I going to owe you on the harvest? How much am I going to have to pay you back? What's the interest? All these other things. And they're like, I'll just tell you later. Would you ever go into contract? Would you ever do business with somebody who didn't give you the parameters now, but they just said, I'll just tell you later? But we do that in our 401ks. Mm-hmm. Because Uncle Sam's going to knock on your door when you go to pull that money out and be like, all right, taxes aren't 32% anymore, Melissa. They're now 55. Who knows? If you want to check out something really interesting, go to debtclock.org and you'll see our national debt ticking away, growing like at a rapid rate. It's really scary. And you can even break it down into states. So wherever you're at today, you can look at what your state is doing as well. Now, on your paper, I think you have something called the rule of 72. And in there, you just need to put the rate of which you take the percentage at which something is growing and you divide it by the amount of, money you have or years that you have to do that. It's going to give you an estimation on how many years it's going to take your money to double, right? So if I was given $10,000 today away to somebody, I would say, you're going to go put that in your bank. How long do you think it's going to take you to grow that 10,000 to 20,000? The average answer I get is 15 to 20 years. But it actually, at a bank account interest rate right now of less than 0.25%, it's actually like 244 years for you to grow your money from 10,000 to 20,000. So the rule of 72 is going to give you that. All right, moving on, because I could stay on that forever. Now I want to say this before I move into the tax advantage strategies real quick, and we'll go through these fast, and then we can meet one-on-one to go through them specifically for your scenario. I am not saying that all of those strategies are bad. I know it sounds like it because I'm not a huge 401k fan, but it serves that there's a time and a place for that. If your company is giving you a great match and you're able to put in 3% and they're going to match your 3%, it might be right for you to do a little bit in that, right? Not saying, I know Tony's like, yeah, no.
Money work for you way more than that 3%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. But what I don't want to have happen is for you guys to be like, I need to pull all my money out of my 401k and go do something, special with it. You need to seek advisement on your particular case and what's going to be best for you before you do that. Okay. So that's what I am saying is they're not all bad, and having a small portion of that within your portfolio is not always bad either. Okay. All right. So tax advantage strategies. We have a couple of people have mentioned infinite banking earlier or family banking. Those two are basically, if you guys ever want to read, a quick read is What Would the Rockefellers Do? All right. Great book. It tells you how they took whole life strategies. I don't really deal with whole life plans, but tells you how they took whole life strategies way back when and built into their family trust that they could create a family banking system. Okay. Now we teach that with different strategies today, but the concept is the same. It's basically setting this up for your family to where when my great grandchild comes to the family trust and says, I want to borrow $100,000 and I'm 20 years old, I can't go do that with any bank that's out there right now. I want to borrow $100,000 to go start this business or to get this nonprofit and impact the community. And they can't go to their bank and borrow that money. We have a family bank set up to where they can borrow that money. Right? They pay the money back. It goes right back into the trust, into the family bank, and it continues for generations and generations. That's what your infinite and family banking are all about. Now, infinite banking is a little different. It's kind of the same strategy, and a lot of these are, but you have infinite banking and real estate bank. Those are very similar. They're just, we structure them differently. Okay. Sometimes an infinite bank or a real estate bank will have a lump sum of money that's put in the beginning so that you then can borrow up to 80% of that within year 2 to go start a business. Or some people like to do hard money lending. Some people like to use that money to fix and flip a house. Right. The great thing about this is that you've got your money over here in this account that you just borrowed from, but it stays in this account and keeps growing. And you're using it over here too. So you're double timing your money. Okay. So digitally, it's still over here like you never pulled it out, but it's also being used over here to fix and flip a house. And then you sell the house and then you just pay that money right back into yourself. Okay, so we teach a lot of concepts like that. And then 2 other ones that I really want to make sure we hit. Toni, you mentioned earlier the $1 Million Baby. I have this for my granddaughter. She's 3, getting ready to have grandbaby number 2 in November. So I'm super excited about that. But we started with $100 a month. So $100 a month for her, all the way up through retirement age, right? Because at some point I will turn that plan over to her and she will start investing that money in for her own future. But I started it at birth. She'll be able to take that and do whatever she needs to do with it. If she needs to pull it out to go to school, she can do that. If she wants to pull some out for a down payment on a first home, she can do that. If she wants to backpack through Europe before she goes to college, she can do that. And it's still going to be valued at $2 to $2.5 million in retirement in tax-free dollars. Tax-free. That's the key. You go to pull that money out. You don't pay any taxes on it. And she can do that for the rest of her life. It's pretty amazing. And then we do that for what's called an executive bonus as well. It's the same thing. It's just structured a little differently for our business owners. So for any business owners on listening today, you can pay that through your business and get this. Just like a 401k, you can get tax benefits now, but when you go to pull the money out, it's also tax-free then. Right? It's a really cool concept. So if you've never heard of it and you want to see what your numbers would look like, we can share that with you. All right. So in closing, well, let me say this. The best part of those two is that they don't, it's kind of hard because I only have keynotes on here, and without my presentation being up, I have some cues on there too. But one of the best things about this is because it's tax-free and because of the type of account that it is, it doesn't interfere with Social Security. It doesn't fall under the required minimum distributions requirements, and it doesn't interfere with FAFSA. So if you were going to apply as parents, you know, a lot of people set up 529s and things like that. Those are privy to market loss. All right. And they also interfere with FAFSA applications. Well, they don't interfere, but they go towards that. You have to disclose that you have those. These plans you do not. So that's very, very important. All right. So in closing, there's 2 steps. And again, the QR code would be here, but it's okay because mine's not as fancy as Anthony's or Steven's. You're not gonna, it doesn't send you automations because I need an appointment with those guys. But what it will get you is if you just simply go to info.wealthwithmel.com. I'm old school, guys. They just got me on digital, like calendar and everything, like in the last year and a half. I still write on paper. So if you go to info.wealthwithmel.com, it's going to bring you up to all my links. Okay, that's my social links. It's my financial services company website. It's events like today. We have a Women in Wealth event next Tuesday as well. You can find everything right there. If you'll go down to freebies or if you'll go to get my free wealth plan, I'm going to send you the same information as if you scan that QR code. So it's not a big deal. But one thing you got to do is, doesn't matter how many books you read, how many seminars you attend, how many events you go to. If you don't take action, it's useless information. It's like reading a book and writing down the best of the best and then never sharing that with the world or never taking action on anything from what you've learned today. Then it's a wasted opportunity. And that is all I have, ma'am.
Oh my gosh. That was
So, yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Okay. So guys, do we have questions?
Oh yeah. I'm going to stay right here and see if we got.
Oh, yep. Hey, Paul, thanks
Yes,
for putting that in there.
Thank you. You're on top of it. That's what I'm talking about.
You guys, do you have any questions for her at all? That was very thorough.
That was very condensed and fast, but I hope you at least got some good takeaways from that.
Do you have a longer link that I could share with them on you explaining a little bit more in depth?
I have tons of, I do have some videos I can send out. So if you'll just simply connect with me through one of those links that you got from info.wealthwithmel.com, I will send you some videos.
Well, you know what you guys I can do too is I'll have a follow-up email that will go out. So I will include that information in there as well.
Yep.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right. All right. Next, you guys. Okay.
Should I save my money or still put 3% in?
Come here. Will you come over here? Well, you need to give her your honest opinion because you play in a different space.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I have to tread really lightly here because I don't know what your full. Oh, bless you, Jesus, hallelujah. Sorry, I'm a little touchy this afternoon. So the proper way for me to say this would be, I cannot advise you of that on this Zoom or if you were in the room asking me that. I couldn't do that without knowing the complete financial situation. So I'd be more than happy to. I'm licensed in all the states. So I do Zoom appointments all day long, every day. For my West Coasters, I'm working till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's fine because I'm on the East Coast. But, you know, I can't really say here because I need to see the full picture of what you need to do and know what your goals are, right? The Melissa side of me, you know, personally, I would put it somewhere else. Just flat out.
Can you talk a little bit more about your book club?
About the book club? Yes. So my team and I, we're all across the country. I actually have like 5 people here today that I work with, which is really cool. But we do a book club every Wednesday, and it's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And we read self-development books. We read financial books. Last month we read, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. This month, we're reading a little more of our business about recruiting and how, you know, what we're looking for in the industry, because we do have business opportunities to work with us as well. And yeah, we just read a few months ago, we read 6 months to 6 figures. We do all kinds of things, and that is open to the public. So if you guys fill out that form and you want to join us on Wednesdays, you're more than welcome to do that.
My buddy Dan he recommended a really good book this morning. It's called The 9-Figure Mindset. It's where we got to go, right?
Yep.
And it's by Brandon Dawson.
Awesome. Maybe we'll add that to the book club.
The links on here, like for the book club specifically, when you click on it, it takes you straight to Zoom. So how do you know when that is? So that you can
Okay.
go in and
It is on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I didn't realize it took you straight to see again. Anthony, can you help me, or Stephen? I need some help. Yeah, no, that's a good question.
The women in wealth, what is the timeline for that?
The timeline for that is, it should have that one on there.
That's a
8:30.
Yeah, and that's a face-to-face meeting, right?
No.
It's on Zoom?
Zoom event.
Okay, so
Yep.
she's got a couple of Zoom events that you can plug into.
Yep.
I will make sure that you guys get all of that information. Right on?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you guys, I am so that was fantastic. Can we just give her a round of applause? And I'll tell you what, I love the way that she breaks it down because of the simplicity. There are a lot of complex layers, you know, in doing these kind of things. So you got to make sure to, you know, get that appointment done. If you don't understand, or if there were gray areas of what she talked about, you know that you need to explore this further. Okay. So you guys, to wrap up our last keynote speaker today, I'm so excited about this particular subject. And I know, Jamie, you know, you've been through a lot over this last year. You just came out of a major surgery. You're doing awesome. Everybody was rooting for you, bro. But, you know, you've been in the real estate space for a long time. And then, you know, we started talking self-directed IRAs, and that was, you know, so both are really, really exciting because you're a complete, what you do is completely different from what Joe does, but also taking the self-directed IRAs and using real estate as a platform for it. So I'm super excited to hear from you today. I'm going to turn the host controls over to you. Just so if you, hold on one sec. Let me just do that. You are ready to roll, sir.
Okay. So as Tanya says, we got to save the best for the last, right? Yeah, so I am from Minnesota, and I got into real estate it'll be 4 years in March. I started this basically, so it was an ad that came across, I don't remember how it was, it came across, and it was a company called Fortune Builders. It was a coaching program on real estate. So I joined their program, and so it went from like basically a couple hours, and then it went to a 2-day event, and then they asked you to join at that point, and then it went to a 3-day, and then basically a year later, you know, I'm still a member there, and I can grab whatever I need to grab for documents and stuff from them. And as like Tanya said, yes, back in March of this year, I had the scare of my life, and I hope nobody here or anybody would have to go through something like that. I had open heart surgery on a valve replacement, and it was all caught from a yearly physical that I had came up. I do my yearly physicals, and I would recommend everybody do their yearly physicals because we never know what can come up, and that's what happened. It came up and in November of last year, and then all said and done, March 14th, I had the surgery, and now here I am. Basically, now it's 6 months later. I like I said, I was in pretty good shape before, but now I do daily walks that I never did before, and then I work out too on top of it. So it's kind of a little bit on me. And like I said, I started my company called Thunder Property Solutions, which we basically flip houses. So here it is. So here it is. And I just, like I said, did a little quick PowerPoint for this. Obviously, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Like, you can talk to Melissa, she can help you. But like I said, I'm not here to take anybody's money. I'm just here to educate people, because that's the big downfall of America. We do not educate people in schools, and it starts from schools. That's what's the bullshit system, you know. We don't starts at the schools, and where we need to start at the schools and educate these kids how to earn some money on the side, or, you know, start a business, however you want to put it. And so here we are. And here's this is our $1 million flip here. Back in, we sold this in July, and that was my biggest flip I've ever done. And we sold it for 1.1 million in Minnesota here. And so there's that one. And then there's the master bathroom of that $1 million flip. And like I said, our mission is to not only us to grow, but for private investors like yourself. And we can you can use your money and leverage it. And I'll show you as we go down. So here's, like I said, we buy distressed price properties, foreclosures, tax, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, we're providing opportunities. That's the key thing. We are providing opportunities. You have the option to invest with us, or you don't have to. That's totally up to you. Here's just our business model. Like I said, quick closings, stuff like that. When we have private money involved, we can click close. We use hard and private to close most of our deals. I'd rather, down the road, I'd like to just be strictly private, but we use hard money too also. Here we go. So basically, private lending is basically anybody like yourself, and you can take whatever, your savings, a checking account, wherever you have money set aside, and you can use, like I said, I'll even show you, like, can leverage a 401k, and then, like I said, be a private investor on my opportunities as real estate. But down the road, I want to help raise private money for businesses like, say, Tonia's or whatever it is, be part of that. I mean, because you can use private money for anything, you know, and people can, like you said, gain interest off put money away. So here's, like I said, we'd buy a house, you know, we go through the process, private money, close the deal, and then renovate the project, and then we sell it. And then, like you said, just keep doing that process. That's how we kind of do our deals. And here's, like you said, you know, high returns on your money. Like I said, we basically, my motto is earn double digits on your money invested. And then, so here's 10 sources of, again, how you can leverage money. Like, here's 401k, and then we'll get into self-direct, you know, trust fund, personal savings, you know, here it all, stocks, you know, and like it's 401k. If you have an active 401k, you can leverage, you know, that's a percent to usually, I think it's right around 50% you can leverage it. Don't quote me on that, but you'd have to ask, like I said, your financial advisor how much you can leverage that, how you can leverage that. Or if you have an old 401k, this is where I tell people you can take that old 401k and you put it in a self-direct IRA. And that's where you can take and invest, be a private investor or private lender, private investor in like Tanya's business or my real estate or like Joe's, stuff like that. You do not have to be accredited investor on my side of stuff. We are getting into the multifamily side of things. So it would be back to accredited for multifamily. But here's the scary things. Like here, I just pulled this the other day. Here's $35 trillion that's out there in the US that's in the retirement funds total. I mean, at this point in quarter one of March 23. That's pretty scary because that's a lot of money. And then if I show you this, look at this, the government basically can own your 401k down the road. That's what's scary is like here, these countries in 2008, Hungary and Ireland, their government took their 401ks. They took it they had to use it for whatever the government, for whatever reason they had to take it. So that's what's scary is the government could take over our 401k and we really don't have no control over that. I mean, it's there, it's out there. Let me get back to that. So just stuff that you really, really need to think about as moving forward, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring us. And so what I did was you can go on the internet and go Google compound interest calculator. So I just threw in 10K and that's yearly. You throw in 10K and then basically at 8% for 40 years, you're going to have basically $2.5, million that will be there. And if you like here, so I just gave a couple of examples at 8K at 100, that's about 100 a year. And at 30 years from, let's say if you retire at 65, you want to go to make it to whatever, 90 or 30 years, you got to have $3 million or close to it, So your 401k, I think the average is at age of 65, I think it's 300 to 400K. Well, look right there. There's a prime example. I mean, that's at 8,000. If you drop it to 4,000, you're at 1.5. I mean, you're not going to have your 401k is not going to be enough. It will not be enough. And that's why our education system sucks, because they are not letting us know that. And look, and there you go. And then, like you said, on top of it off, like you get taxed when you pull that, like you said, Ms. Liz, if you pull that out, you're getting taxed on that at whatever at that time. And like you said, like she said, 50%, whatever it is, you got to get taxed on that 401k. And so, like I said, here's an example just of kind of just some rough numbers I threw together. And then, right, like I said here, like your dollar, if you had $1 million in a savings account right now, yeah, in a year from now would be there $1 million. But if you take inflations, it ain't worth in the millions. Let's say it's only it'll be around 900K or whatever it is, because look at inflation, it's killing it. So they say we have to really think about it. That's why I said that's my goal is now moving forward, is just educate people, because I mean, and a lot of people, if you ask the question of what is a self-direct account, they don't even know. Like I have no clue. So here's some other things, like you said, risk rewards, here's the bank, here's like, if you had 100K again, like at 1%, or if you take 100K at 10%, you're in a year, you'd have 10K. At a bank, you'd only have $1,000. And I mean, like you said, the numbers are there, and it's proven, it's proven there. So here's kind of how I protect our private investors on this is, they're backed up with a promissory note, and then we put them on the mortgage, and then I also have them on our insurance policy. So if something would happen to me, if I would get hit by a bus and get killed, my private lender is still protected by that piece of property. They can, like I said, basically, if there's hard money involved, then there you both get finish out the project and you both get paid out, right? So that's like I said, I've always I always protect my investors that way, just in case, you know, like you said, we don't know what tomorrow will bring us. We could, like you said, we have no idea. So I always want to protect my people that are involved. Like I said, here is just kind of just a quick generic promissory note, and then a recorded deed, and so here's, like you said, here's 5 common lenders use, you know, like you said, they fund their deals. Like you said, cash, line of credit, retirement funds, so on. And then here's some, like I said, I'm just kind of breezing through quick too, and then I'll send email this slideshow to you guys all, because Toni's got all your emails, so I'll get us out. And basically now I've gone up, so a minimum of 50K to invest in with me on my opportunities. That was a way lower when I first started, just because I wanted to get rolling. But I hired a private lender coach to teach me, like you said, teach me more about how to use private lending and leverage it. I said I love coaching. That's like I said, I met Tanya through a mastermind. So here's an opportunity right now that I have out there. It's kind of a small thing here, but basically 150. This deal here is 150 of private money I'm looking for, and I'm paying 50%. So within a 6-month period, you're when you invest 150, you're basically going to make 22,000, roughly 23,000 in that range there. This is a property in Florida that we are looking at. We have it under contract, so we're, like I said, as of right now, that's what I'm looking for on a piece of that one. Here's an example I just pulled out of my group, my team on that pulled out. So like I said, this ain't my deal, but here you can see, you know, like I said, there's the bank at 150 at a rate of 1.2. They only are making $660, and here's 150 at 10%. You're making 5K. So here's one of my properties. This one I did want to throw in, for example. This one I did. This one was a February of last year. I sold this one. And this one I sold for, I believe it was $875. This private lender that was on this deal, he invested $170, and we paid him 12%. Mortgage terms was, like you said, 6 to 12. That's what it was we agreed on, but it ended up being 7 months total from start to finish. And basically, all said and done, he walked away with 14,000. You know, a little over 14,000. Like I said, he's everything recorded. Here's a little, he sent me gave us a little thing there, but so, and then here's all my info of my social media. And then, like I said, Tanya, the one on the left is my actual contact information. It'll give you my email numbers and then, like I said, my social media stuff. So I think I'm pretty close. Ain't I, Tanya, I believe. So if you got any questions, fire away here.
Yeah, so the one thing that I do want to reiterate is that self-directed IRAs, they use real estate, they use precious metals. There are some self-directed IRAs where they do invest in the stock market. You really need to vet this person that you're going to use, but this is just another way. When you are investing money into real estate, the government can't touch it. So you can just keep rolling it, right? So this is what I'm doing with Joe, is that even though, you know, we've invested all this money, is that the capital gains that I'm going to make on it, plus my investment, I'm just going to roll into the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And then my capital gains are split between my infinite banking and my real estate investments. So you guys, the government can't touch that. So this is all about you keeping more money for yourself, investing it into these 3 platforms that they have available. And really, you know, when you look at a self-directed IRA, a lot of it is real estate. It's primarily real estate.
Yeah.
But great thing is that and the insurance options that you have were all created by the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Fords, all of this back in the early 1900s, so they could protect their money. It's just that we don't know about this. I didn't know about this stuff until 3 or 4 years ago. So this is why I'm bringing it to light to everyone, because I don't want people to be a slave to them working every single day. I mean, I was stupid. I was paying myself, you know, with my 1099, I was paying myself a salary. So I was getting double taxed, right? I know. It's like ridiculous, right? Anyway,
and then too, and also too,
does anybody have any questions for Jamie at all?
And then also too, with adding to Tanya's stuff. Now remember, like if you have a 401k, not existing, but a previous one, you roll that into a self-direct, you do not get taxed on that. You will not get taxed on it when you roll it right into it. You get taxed on the other, like you said, when you pull it out of there. But when you roll it right into a self-direct, remember, you do not get taxed on it. So you don't have to worry about all that either.
Right. Yeah, and you won't have any penalties either.
No.
So
Yep.
So the one thing about this is that the 401ks that you have right now, they were, like Jamie said, on average at the age of 65, they're worth 300,000 or 400,000. You guys, I can tell you that my mother-in-law, she's been in private care for, gosh, what has it been, Naomi? 6 years? To the tune of $6,000 a month, and she didn't have any money left.
That was my $85 a month in 2017 to 19.
Yep.
Well, back to like I said, like
too, but now she's in memory care, and so therefore, I mean, like as you know, her family, that is an incredible financial burden on somebody, especially if you can't take care of them. I would never want her in my home anyways, but that's a subject for another time. But the whole fact of it is that we have to help people plan. And so what happens is that really, like if you're struck with any, like she's in memory care, if you're struck with any long-term, let's just say cancer or whatever, it's the whole system is designed to rob you of your of any finances that you have. So we have to be the ones that are going to deliver the message and change, you know, how people are treating money. There is nothing wrong with money, you guys. You can either be an asshole with or without money, right? If it's the love of money, it's the greed. There's a fundamental difference that when you're looking at money from a place of making it work for you, making sure that you know that the properties of money are energy, okay? And you have to change and shift your mindset. And that all starts with education, just like you're getting here today.
And then, like you said too, the other thing too to add to that, so like you know, like back in the day, everybody was save, right? And then, you know, whatever, and you come to, like you said, come to the thing. But like I was just listening to a story from a gal, like her father saved, put it all away in a 401k, and then as soon as he got to retirement, he ended up dying. So all that money he just got done saving is gone, like totally gone, like. So he saved all that years to not even get to enjoy it. Like, so like I said, we gotta, like I said, Tanya and I mean, we gotta educate people. Like you said, people don't, like she just said, people don't know what a self-direct account is. They have no clue.
Yeah, and you guys, they're super simple to set up. You could just set it up as your real estate investments. If you want to use someone, we have someone, Jamie and I, you know, both know somebody, but you can just invest all of your, you know, what you have right now into real estate. And that basically is a self-directed IRA. It's not rocket science. Everybody wants this long convoluted explanation when it should be actually very simple. So this is really simple. So Jamie, Angela says, what's your take on a HELOC loan?
Well, you can, again, like you said, you can leverage it. I mean, that's the problem. You can leverage all this stuff that people are not leveraging, that you can leverage. You know, we have it all the time. We have people doing that all the time. You taking
with all your
taking
expertise. Melissa wanted to hop in on this one.
Yeah, I would just say too, it depends on what you're doing with it, right? If you if you're taking a HELOC to pay off debt and you don't fix the actual problem, which is spending and not knowing where your money goes and all of that stuff, what's going to happen is you're going to have a HELOC at 7.4% right now, and you're going to have credit card debt that you're going to rack up again. So it depends on what you're using a HELOC for. If you're using it for, if you just feel the comfort of having it in case you need it, like if you feel like there's going to be job loss, or if there's going to be something coming down the path, it's not a bad idea maybe just to have it sitting there that you can use if needed. But I think you got to be real careful on what you're using it for. And if you're investing it, then you need to make sure it's way outpacing whatever percentage you're paying on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep. There's people doing it.
Yeah,
They're
actually,
using
Joe and I have talked about this before, because he has different levels of investment opportunities, and just, taking what Melissa said, you have to make sure that what you're investing in is going to double or triple your money, no matter what you're doing.
Yep.
So that's
exactly
my own personal opinion. Now, these are goals for you guys to have, but again, I try to surround myself with people that are better than me because I want to learn from them. You guys, so having that emergency fund, and you can talk more about this, that means you need 3 months. Actually, I'm going to say 6 months of your money that that you spend every month that you have available just in case. And the other thing is that I was talking a little bit, and this just came to my mind right now, especially using cash more often. How many times do you just go and swipe your card and you're not even paying attention to it? How often I look at my accounts every single day. One, to make sure there's no fraud on it, because it's happened to us probably at least 6 or 7 times. 2, to make sure that I know what I'm spending and what my family's spending. I might even stalk Naomi's account too. But, the one thing is that you want to be cognizant of that. And with credit cards and debit cards, we've gotten away from personal responsibility of what we spend.
Yep.
You have to take responsibility for that. You and only you. You should know every single day what you're spending. You should know what's going on your debit card, your credit card, and how much cash. So if you take the cash and you give yourself that allotted money that you can spend that week, you are done. You are done. So you can't just keep swiping your cards. And this is why they want everything to go to a digital currency. They want to control everything.
Exactly.
So I know.
And I recommend a year.
For a minute.
Tanya says 6 months, but Tanya says 6 months. I say a year.
A year?
Yeah, I say a year. Tanya, you say 6 months, but I say a year. I have a lot of coaches say a year.
But start where you're at today.
You can't
jump to 6 months and don't do anything else for those 6 months. You gotta
come over here so they can hear you. Okay.
Just food for thought again. Don't paralyze yourself by needing 6 months and not working on anything else that you need to be working on, right?
Yep.
So work towards the goal of 6 months. But if you also have debt, you also need to be putting money away for investments. You can do all of that at the same time if you have the right plan in place to do it. So don't let paying off debt, I got to pay off my mortgage and all this stuff first before you do any of these other things, because time is a hot commodity. If you don't have time on your side, the compounding interest does not matter because you don't have enough time to gather it. So you got to be able to have a good solid plan to do all those things at the same time.
I have a question for Jamie.
You have a question? Come on up. Harris, Jamie's got a question for you.
Hey, Jamie. When you said you put your investors on the mortgage, the note, and the insurance, is there some reason you're doing that instead of just like creating an LLC as opposed, obviously maybe for tax reasons, so you're not having to deal with taxes at the end of the year, but is there any other benefit
to put them on the mortgage note and insurance instead of like creating an LLC and then having everybody on that single LLC?
Well, you can do that. There's that option too, but I guess I've always done it to where I just put them on there, like you said, in case something would happen to me, they're backed up. You know what I'm saying? But you can do it that way. Start an LLC. That's not saying that you can't do that either. But I personally have never done it that way. But you can do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So I just wanted to say this because I think it was Angela earlier today, and I did want to address about, how she had to set up her LLC. Well, you guys, you don't need anybody to do this for you. You go to your state, okay, whatever that is. So like I live in South Carolina, SC.gov. You do the name search, you get cleared for the name search. And then if you're going to file, if you're going to do that and you're going to file for LLC, S Corp or C Corp, if you know what you want to do, okay, most people do an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation, which protects you from people suing you and taking everything. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the first thing. And depending on what, you're looking for, an S Corp or a C Corp is different. And, for those two particular things, that you're going to be making a lot more money. An LLC, anybody can start. So you go to southcarolina.gov or ca.gov or mi.gov or wherever. You do the name search, you get that cleared, and then that takes 2 minutes over the internet. And then you go to the irs.gov and you register that business name and you'll be issued an EIN or an ITIN. Now, this goes the same for all countries have something very similar. Because, we're in 10 different countries. In Europe, I know exactly what to do because you have to set up their SRAT or their VAT, and then they have to file with, their country, which is the same as the IRS here. So it's the same process if you're going to do that. It takes literally 5 minutes. So don't let that put you off. If you have questions, just hit me up on in a message. Okay, so this also might be a question for Melissa, Jamie, I'm not sure. I'm not in a hurry to pay off my home because it's at 2.6 and save instead right now with a 5.3 on a bundle account at my credit union. Am I correct, or do I pay it off first?
The house?
Yeah.
No, I would keep doing exactly what she did.
Yep. Melissa agrees. She said, Trisha, you do it.
Yep.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions at all? Do I have any ads from some of the speakers?
I was just going to say on that too. One thing that a lot of people think that they got to have thousands and thousands of dollars to make an impact on debt or on paying off a home earlier. I just showed somebody the other day how they only had $7,300 in credit card debt at 25% interest. It was going to take them 23 years at the minimum payment to pay that $7,300 off. All right. We added $50. We found $50 within their spending plan to add to that, and it brought that down to 4 years. 23 years to 4 years by finding $50 to add towards that. So you can make an impact in that small. You don't have to go, stop doing other things you're doing, but just we can find the money within your income and what you have going out to make an impact in those things. It doesn't have to always be big.
Awesome. Anyone else have any questions? Pam, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Let's go back and say hi.
Concept back on track.
I was gonna say, now that you've all heard all this information, you might want to go ahead and take in that deep breath. Take it in, lock it in, and just, remember intention. Remember to act with intention to, the things that happen in your subconscious mind, those are the things that become automatic, and when you think about it, a good example is a baby who learns to walk. They have to learn to put their feet on the floor to get their balance. They have to learn to put one foot in front of the other foot, and they're going to get up and they're going to take a couple steps and they're going to fall, and they're going to do that for a little bit, but fast forward a year, they get up and they run. They don't even walk anymore. They're just running. So it became automatic in their subconscious mind. those are the things, you know, like I said, I do hypnosis all day and I drive home and I couldn't tell you how I got there. But it's all because my subconscious mind takes over, you know, so that's what happens. So, you know, when you're dealing with your everyday frustrations, with your stress, with your anxiety, with, you know, all that negative stuff, let it go. You know, when you go to sleep at night, take those 3 deep breaths and breathe in calm and relaxed, because that's the last thing that goes into your subconscious mind. And then when you wake up in the morning, do it again, because you want to start your day off with calm and relaxed. So that's my spiel.
Awesome. All right, you guys. So we got some giveaways to do. So you guys, we did conclude a little bit early. Make sure that, you know what, I'm going to send out an email with everybody's contact information. I want to thank everybody for being here at our very first event. I know it was a little wonky. I promise we'll do better next time. We already have our next event date set in stone, and that is January 13th. We will have a live event. And actually my videographer, Kylie, will be here for the virtual option. He is absolutely spectacular. But listen, so here's what we're going to include. You're going to get these amazing speakers that were on here today live and in front of you. But the best part is that I am going to have also will an estate attorney that is going to share with you, because having an estate and having a trust is very, very important. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we're going to be talking more about self-directed IRAs, because I'm going to get certified after I get done with this. And I know that alongside with Jamie and what he can offer as well, that we'll be able to help everybody out keep more of their money. Okay. The third thing is, did I say July or January 13th? Yes. So that will be here in Charleston. So if you can make it, great. We'll have tickets up here very shortly. The location will be determined based on how many pre-tickets that we have sold, and we will be selling them at a great price for pre-sale. So with that being happened, I'm going to also send out a survey for you guys. Give me your honest feedback. I think I know most of you that were on the Zoom, that you know me, or you got to know me real quick, because I don't have any layers. You know, there's just nothing. You're getting the authentic me all the time. So let me know what you need, because this is how we're going to build this platform. And honestly, this was kind of like the stepping stone, is really creating the community where it's a one-stop. We have all of these resources and connections for you to do. That's what I do. I'm a connector. But also too, this was the inaugural launching of our, wealth and coaching platform with business for network marketers and entrepreneurs. And so we're super excited to be sharing that with you today. And you guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate everything that you guys brought to the table, your interaction, your great questions. And I especially want to thank Anthony, Jamie, Stephen, Joe, Pam, and Melissa for their contribution to this event. And I love you guys so much. All right. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And you know what? Take this in little by little. We'll get the recording out to you in about 24 hours. And I can't. Oh, Ange, thank you, Ange. Yes, I appreciate that too. But you know what? I'm learning as I learn alongside these professionals, and I can't wait to share even more with you guys. Oh, and you guys, I'm going to try to get Robert Michael here too. This guy's going to blow your mind. Go check him out and listen to what he talks about on his Instagram. He's like, he's so real, but he's had 14 years of studying, all this stuff, and what you're going to find on his website, houseofmarcus.org. Pretty powerful stuff. Okay. So you guys, I really appreciate it. Love you all. Thank you all for being here. We did end a little bit early. You know me, I'm a time Nazi. So, better early than late. All right, you guys, take care so much. All right. We'll talk to you soon. And I'll leave the Zoom on. So you guys, again, connect with some people in here that you found that you were kind of drawn to, and make it a pact with someone that moving forward, that you're really going to really impact your financial future. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about accountability. Right? All right, you guys, take care. And I'll leave this on for a bit.